And we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Fans of Power podcast. I'm Tyler Baker. If you don't know that by now, you're not a true fan of power. And I don't mind insulting you for that. And with me, as always, is the Rotten Amato Joe Amato and Nasty Nate Kennedy. Gentlemen, we doing all right this evening?
Doing good. What about you, Nathan? Don't you have something you want to announce to everybody? Might as well let everybody know you had something special happen this weekend.
We're talking about that. I was just first let's bring up the fact real quick that this is going to be the last episode of Fans of Power in this sort of visual format. Next week it'll be different because Hangouts on Air live, how we've been doing this since forever, at least since I've been around, is going away on August 1st. So next week the show will look a little bit different and hopefully still run just as smooth live with the chat room. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe Tyler and I can do a test run on Beyond Retro and see how that's going to work. I don't know. We'll figure something out with that. But since Joe brought it up, I did get engaged this weekend. So let me just pat myself on the back like Barry Horowitz. Way to go,
Congrats. Me. So how'd you do it? How'd you propose to her? What kind of like sneaky way, or how did that go about?
Well, I put on a Joe Amato mask and my pants, and the ring was around my dong, and I was like, well, what do you think? And she said, I'm in.
So how did it really go?
That's how
he was impressed by your joke there.
That's how Joe. That's how it went.
Joe's he's not shy about being dismissive of things that you and I say on this podcast. If he ain't impressed, so moving on here.
No. Oh, I was curious. I didn't know what you did. If you did the old, like trick where you go down to your knee for like you're grabbing for something, then you had the ring, or just go up there and say, "Hey, want to get hitched?"
No, yeah, it didn't go that way. I know Joe bothered me about it, and a lot of other people said too. They're like, "Did you video it?" And I'm like, "No, that's a moment between the two of us that will stay between us, and will just be a story moving forward." So
yeah, which I told him was like, "Yeah, you guys aren't into that trendy bullshit of like we got to set up 4 cameras around and we got to pay all these people to be a part of it or anything like that." I'm like, that's plus they had done it. Like for a while, none of them was posted on social media. I just thought that was pretty cool that they were just like, we're not into the whole, spectacle of social media coming out with the glitz and glamour of all that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, not everything needs to be shown to everybody in the world.
Yeah, they were pretty private about it, and so. Even when they told me about it,
that was the beautiful part. And sorry, I'm not on camera yet, guys. I'm going to save that for the end of the show because I didn't know I was going to be here at the beginning. But Joe's like, "You got to talk about the Hangouts on Air," and then he hits me with, "Well, what else did you do this weekend?"
There you go. How about that?
But no, with Tyler, she had the ring on her finger, and she went with us. We went down to a comic book or a Comic-Con over the weekend, which Tyler and I will kind of go into detail about on the Beyond Retro channel at some point this week, where we can talk about. It's a lot of good stories there. It was interesting to say the least. But anyway, I was hoping because she was kind of like moving her hand up to like scratch her head or whatever. So he was in the back seat to where maybe if he was looking forward, he would see it, and he was just oblivious. So I just like picked up her hand. I'm like, "Hey, look, I did a thing," and he's like, "What? I had all these bits planned out because you said you were gonna do it later on," and I was like, "No, I just went ahead and did it, man. Sorry."
Yeah. When it comes to wedding stuff in general, I'm just pretty oblivious to that stuff. I don't catch that kind of stuff, and so he had to shove it in my face, like, what the hell? So yeah, it was pretty much taken aback, and they were just pretty much yeah. So that's that.
That's that.
They were pretty low key about it. So because the focus was like being stuck in traffic, seeing a charred bus, what
a weird trip.
Yeah,
what a weird convention. But we'll go into detail about that on the Beyond Retro channel. So you guys be on the lookout for that. That should happen at some point this week because I'm on vacation and Joe's going to bother me every day. "Hey, you going to do a video game stream?" Yes, Joe. Yes, it is likely that there will be video game streams, but probably not tonight. I'm going to throw that out there now because sometimes we get that in the chat at the end. "Hey, any video game stream?" Not tonight.
Well, hell, enjoy your vacation. You ain't have to do a video game stream. You can just sit there and just do whatever the hell you want and go out and do things and enjoy life.
Oh yeah, he says that now.
Yeah. I know. Joe says it, trying to be all humble about it. I guarantee you, 24 hours from now.
Hey, so
Where's the stream? Where are you going to play Contra 3? What's going on? Super Castlevania 4?
he wants me to do it just so he can give me shit in the chat room the whole time.
Honestly, guys, I don't do that to give him anything bad. It's just he's
I'm
terrible.
just curious, like, do people support you? Like, yeah, Joe, you tell him. Like, is anyone responding when Joe's like slamming? Man, you really
No,
slow this game.
they gradually just take
They know
my
what I'm
side.
doing.
They're like,
Yeah.
hey, come on, Joe, he's just having fun. He's like, no, damn it, this is a competition. You got to do it right. It's good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know,
put
yeah.
a word in there.
He is bad. I mean, he really is bad. But well, let me acknowledge the chat room before I
Well,
ask
of
Tyler
course,
something.
before Joe passes out.
No, but it's like, oh god, I got to do it. I got to do
I
it.
told Nathan, I said, I swear, Joe is like when you defeat a boss in Turtles in Time and you hear that ticking bomb sound and they shake and they rattle and boom, 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 and they fly off the screen. Like, that's Joe when it comes to the people in the chat room. So I want everyone to know that Joe just, he treasures the names in that chat room so much. He does not mind interrupting us or disrupting the flow or whatever to let everyone know that you are in here and that you are a special one. I feel like Joe is kind of like Mr. Rogers with everyone. He loves to let everyone know that they are very special in this chat room. Is that
If I had shoes on right now, I'd take them off. But I'd try
but
to
you
make
would
everybody
not
feel
take the
special.
mask off. Like if Mr. Rogers is wearing a mask, he ain't changing the mask. You know,
Hey, geez, remember that one guy? I remember that one meme I think they put around with Mr. Rogers when he put on this clown mask, and it looks insanely psychotic. And some people said, "Did he really put on that mask, or is that a joke?" Like, no, he put on that mask. So yeah, but mine's all the time. But yes, I'll say hello to everybody in the chat room because I appreciate you guys being here. I love you guys. So Zentron, Zen Brown, Grimbot, Adam Gabber, Papa Hud 69, Curtis Ackerman, Spike's here. Maxworks is here. Yeah, maybe you can give an update, Karsten, on what's going on, and maybe Tyler can on the Clamp Jam comic.
no, I cannot.
Oh, you can't? Okay, Fedmon.
No,
Text Media Animations here. No, you can't give an update. I thought he was gonna maybe.
No. I mean, like, he's busy with other stuff, and that's really about it. That I don't have anything else on it. So maybe if I kind of bust his balls a little bit, he'll hurry up with his other project and get back to that other project that's been lingering for what 2-3 years. Something like that.
Well, you seen his post that he put in the Fans of Power Facebook group, didn't you? Where he showed a little update on that comic. He did put an update.
No.
Oh, he put. Oh, okay. So I thought you just probably knew because he put that up there. So I told him, I said, spoilers. Like, I didn't want to look, but there's like all these.
Sake, it's a fight between Ninja and Clanch. There's nothing to spoil in it. I don't have like a revelation thing that happens in it. I mean, I think I've spoiled like the big stuff in it. I mean, there's like maybe one thing I haven't mentioned yet, but no, there's nothing in it that Joe would flip the table over, podcast is over because I spoiled a mini comic that he would begrudgingly take a copy of.
I'm gonna say one more thing before I bounce to you guys at the end. If Tyler seems extra salty on this episode, it's because Pauly Shore's an asshole.
Yeah.
And
well, hold on. I'm gonna do it like I always say. You can't. Now wait a second. I'm gonna say now. We know it's a Fans of Power podcast about Masters, but you can't leave us hanging. Now you are gonna have to say what happened with Pauly Shore. We got to.
Well, all right. We'll talk about it again, but after this convention, I'm gonna go to one more that's local around us this coming weekend. But after
he'll be
that,
going solo. He will not be going with me.
After that, I'm kind of done with the whole thing. Like, now, we had some very good experiences at this show, but between the crowds, which was insane, and trying to find parking, which took about a good 20 minutes of driving around aimlessly finding a spot, the prices that celebrities charge have gradually gone up since Tyler and I started going to these things, and you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, I've been thinking about it all day, Tyler. Pauly Shore is, I think that's just how he is. But it
doesn't make it.
I know it doesn't make it any better. But for $40 for an was it
50 for an autograph or 50 for a picture and 40 for an autograph?
Yeah. Or there was like a combo. I think it was like 60 for both or something. I can't remember. Anyway, I just know that Tyler and I both went up there with Encino Man posters. Tyler walks up to him, and he's just like, yeah, okay, and he like signs the stuff, and then doesn't really say anything to Tyler. So Tyler's just like, all right, and just walks away. And then he turns around, like when I walk up, he looks at Tyler, and he's just kind of like, later, dude. Like he's almost just like, hi, I got your money, haha, this is funny.
Okay.
Like I'm an asshole. Like that's basically what it was. Like,
yeah, he left
He
the
did the
table
same-
after like acknowledging me and like, okay, well, I guess he's done talking to me.
yeah,
And I actually had to ask him if he would write something else, and it was just like an afterthought. Like, oh, okay, as if like, oh, well, you want that too? I'm like, I asked him to write 2 words: meet group, and I could not have felt more like I was asking him to give me a kidney.
He charged $50 for you to write that too, or what? I mean, did he charge
that, and because he just, I think most of these people just get to where they just think all you want is for them to say to who. Oh, and here's my signature. All right, now get the hell out of here. Like I'm accustomed to asking people to write a quote from a movie or the show or whatever that they were on. And for the most part, they've all done it. A small handful of just kind of like you. But I've got this hemorrhoid in my asshole. I can't do you all that. That's asking too much, kid. I mean, $90 for me to just write my name. I mean, Christ Almighty. So it really made me feel like, and I had met him before, and it was kind of a throwaway, moment because it was like pretty cheap to get in to see him do stand up, which wasn't that good. You get a free picture with him. He barely acknowledged you, but it was like, okay, that's kind of cool for a cheap price. You got to, sit next to Pauly Shore, get your picture taken. Very impersonal, but you kind of feel like with this, you kind of get like an opportunity to actually like say hello to him. Ask him something. He said, he acknowledges you as a person. Thank you for being a fan. And he had sunglasses on, which kind of always comes off as a sign like they're high as shit or something like that. So it was very impersonal. And
did he do the same thing to Nathan? Did he?
I walked up to him and he was just still grumbling, like, I'm like, well, can you write Wheeze the juice, Weasel juice? He's like, writes it down there. And I was just like, all right, well, thank you, and went in to like shake his hand, because most of the times I've had experiences like you talk to them, you shake their hands, like, hey, nice, pleasure to meet you, whatever. And he just put his fist out for like a fist bump, and I audibly I was just like, oh, all right, and then just turned around and walked away. Now we had great experiences. That was the worst one. Tyler had another one. We'll get into that one.
I had another one that was a mixed bag of shit and
but we'll save that for when Tyler and I actually do a little bit and post it on the Beyond Retro channel. But David Tennant, Emily met David Tennant, for those Doctor Who fans and everything. He was amazing. Thanked us for being there. Shook our hands. I told him he was great in the Fright Night remake, and he was like, "Oh, thank you." It was great, right? And he was Pauly Shore's an asshole. He sucks.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'll see you guys at the end of the show.
Okay. All right. All right, Tyler. Well, Karsten had something to say to you. First, Wisdom Files, thank you for joining us. And Max Works, who is Karsten, said, Tyler, yes, I am working pages over pages all day and all night to get it done. He said, that's why I can be here. He says, normally this is my time to go to bed because around 4 hours later, I have to get up again. But he wanted to let you know he was working pages on pages day and night.
Yeah, he told me that already, so that's nothing I had already heard.
Is that your sure, Karsten?
By the way, and I'm still waiting on my Turtles commission I bought from you there too, pal. So,
sure, we'll get a
I don't mind, digging a little deeper on him on that one. So yes, and I'm saying this playful too, but yeah, Nathan is right. I am still a bit salty from yesterday because I didn't talk about it today with anybody. I didn't have much to say about it, when we left yesterday. So I apologize if my tone is because it was very disheartening, very deflating, and it was, if Nathan hadn't made me laugh all the way home, because he also kind of got ugly with a guy that was out there protesting against like homosexuals and stuff like that too outside the convention. So Nathan got a little aggressive with the guy.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a bunch of odd stuff. I'm just throwing out random teasers, but I apologize for my tone to Joe and anyone listening if it's not as satisfying as well, if you don't like it at all, period. But I apologize if it doesn't come off as jovial or as enjoyable as you might like it in previous episodes. So I'm gonna do my best to put that behind me because it's not Joe's fault or anybody else's, but it was a disheartening experience, though. So.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, especially when you have expectations and you're going to see these people, you're paying good money.
Yeah, $240 was spent on this thing, and Nathan bought my ticket too. So, yeah,
the girls, Tyler, the girls.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be back at the end. Sorry,
that's a reference to the actor who plays Destro.
Okay. Well, no, as for new news, recently, nothing but Motu fan number one. Thank you for joining us. But yes, right now, there's really no new news beyond what we had at San Diego Comic-Con a couple weeks ago, in case people were wondering what's really happening, what's in stores. It's like, nothing. So I was like, I guess I can't really report on nothing. The one thing that I guess I wanted to say, because somebody asked, they said, why haven't you done a review of season 2 of She-Ra yet for Netflix? One, Tyler is, I'm not putting Tyler through it, just to let you know. I'm not going to put Tyler through it. I have watched it. If Nathan would just want to record me, do a quick ramble for 20 minutes, because you know how quick I talk, I could just get out the whole entire thing, and I'll say my piece. And again,
you need 20 minutes to say it was shit?
Well, you know me, I get repetitive. I might get too passionate. I go rambling on side rants because I get too emotional.
Honestly, if you want the floor, dude, I'll give it to you. I will sit quietly. You can say whatever you want, but I don't think you need 20 minutes for it, knowing you. I mean, by all means, if people want it, you go right ahead. I honestly, I won't say a single word. I'll just sit here and just listen to you, bud.
Okay. Well, here's the honest thing. Again, for those who love it, more power to you. But for those that don't like it, they should be able to speak up as well, because you get a thing sometimes, and this isn't just the Masters of the Universe Princess Power community. You get it in all forms of, any type of media, cartoons, or fandoms. And sometimes when somebody is remaking something or doing their reboot, you damn sure know they're hoping that the original fans will love something. And when the original fans maybe will speak up and say, I really don't like it, their comeback is always, it's not made for you, or it's for kids. And then I will see people our age, Tyler, or mine age, your age, whatever, around our ages that'll say, hey, that cartoon isn't for you, while they're watching it. It's like, okay, wait a second. If it's not for me and Tyler, and you're our age, I guess it ain't for you either, but you're enjoying it. So if you can enjoy that cartoon at your age, which is our age, we cannot enjoy it at our age. And then their excuse, it's sometimes easy to say, oh, it's for kids. That's always the comeback. First, it's here. We're making this for the fans. Hope the fans love it. And if the fans don't like it, oh, it's for kids. It ain't for you. It's always the quick reflex comeback. And like I said, what for me this cartoon fails in, it's lost the fantasy feel and effect that, He-Man and She-Ra has always been known for. It's like non-existent. Sure, when you look at them, it's not Earth, but it feels like, actually, to me, Earth kids cosplaying in outfits and maybe are just out in obviously a land that looks different, but there's no feel. Where is that magic, that power, that fantasy that we always loved from She-Ra and He-Man back in the day? What is wrong with having a hero that is a mighty warrior, man or woman, that comes to save the day, that you're like, oh God, I wish this person would come save me? Not, this is my 11-year-old, 12-year-old buddy that is supposedly strong. Like when I was growing up, when you wanted heroes, you look to somebody that was amazing with amazing powers. When you wanted to have the fun cartoons that are your buddies, I've told you before, it's like you watch Scooby-Doo and fun little cartoons. That's not what He-Man and She-Ra is. But it's like, it's become such a joke of anytime there's like something that's a major point, it's like, where's the powers? It's like, oh, the focus of this one was, oh, I got grounded. Oh, we went to prom. And then now with Catcher, like, Shadow Weaver, why was I never good enough for you? And then Scorpio's like, oh, Catcher, I hope we can be more than friends outside of work and do other things. It's like, what's all the relationship stuff? Bo, it's like, oh, I hope my dads are going to find out that I'm working at with the Princess Alliance. Like, where is anything exciting in this cartoon? Kids can't grow up to have this imagination of anything of power, wisdom, magic, fantasy. It is dead in this new cartoon. And for them to try to pull that diversity card, they've never watched the original He-Man and She-Ra, because it's always been about diversity of people of other races, genders, and everybody being treated equally, not demeaning anybody because they're a man, they're a woman, because of any other race. And also, this is a world of Eternia and Etheria in these, universes for our properties, to where there's creatures. I mean, the creatures and beings outweigh humans anyways in Masters and Princes of Power most of the time. But think about this. They thought, hey, we're bringing in, like, let's say, what happened to the fantasy creatures? Meaning, You think of when you had Cowl, Madame Raz, Broom, some of the people that, adore / She-Ra's secret. Madame Raz, she's non existent except in season 1 of being like a crazy old kook. And Broom is a broom. And Cowl is a pillow. And Lookie is a pitcher. Where are all the creatures that were special in Princess of Power? Where are the damn Twiggets? The Twiggets don't even exist. It's like all just human beings. And, like the Twiggets, they were kind of representative, almost like, the Widgets were in Masters of, small people and smaller beings. They're just as strong and important and they can save the day too. You don't get that kind of message. Madame Raz, she wasn't the same body type as all the original Princesses of Power back in the day. She was a different body type. So we've always had different body types, different sizes, but they've killed the fantasy element. And they've also killed the identity of She-Ra. Meaning, when I've said this before, but in case somebody's new to this, you can hear it again. She-Ra's basically non-existent. Because when she becomes She-Ra, not only does the Princess Alliance call her Adora, but so does everybody on the Horde. What's the special transformation then of becoming this strong warrior? And when she does become this strong warrior of She-Ra, what has she done? In that episode where they mocked in season 2, when they mocked the original Filmation, that wasn't an homage, because if you watch it, you see how they were mocking it. Finally, at the end, when there was a battle and she becomes She-Ra, she has like a 7-second battle with Scorpia, who disarms her, is ready to take her out. She needed the Princess Alliance to save her. In the episode where it was Bo and they had to stop that first one's technology by putting something in it, She-Ra couldn't even stop it. Bo had to do it. She-Ra is not even doing anything to show power. It might as well be called the Princesses of Power and Adora. She-Ra, the mighty warrior and our hero, is basically dead in this cartoon, and that's what pissed me off. And for anybody that likes calling people of my age, Tyler's age, oh, you're sexist, you're misogynist, we would never love She-Ra to begin with. Did you notice not one single time did I say, She-Ra doesn't have big boobs, so I don't like the cartoon? You didn't hear that from me. So don't use that excuse of saying that's the only reason that the original fans don't like She-Ra. She don't have big boobs. My entire rant did not involve that at all. Because that's a quick and easy cop-out just to say, oh, they don't like it because of no big boobs. So I had to let that off my chest. But hey, for any of you guys that are watching or listening, if you like it, good. But I gave my opinion, and that's my honest opinion why I just don't like that cartoon. So, there. And boy, people were they're agreeing with me and going nuts in the chat room. But I'm glad I got to finally say it to you guys. I know you've been wanting me to do it. So, yeah, I had to let it rant. And thank you for letting me rant, Tyler, because it's a disgrace to She-Ra. That's all. I just had to say that.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get Nathan, off of vacation to come and just sit for what was like 5 minutes. You're like, I swear, a bit 20 minutes, 30 minutes to just go in. Like, well, that's kind of it, man.
Right.
James like, you got me off of my vacation mode to come for this. So yeah, Joe, I'm just messing with you, dude.
No, I know.
No, I yeah, and I just kind of feel like, by this point, if people are still like throwing those stones at people who say they don't like it, because they're the lazy, what I guess like the term for people that, the same people that think that Marvel is groundbreaking, thinking that the world has never had a black superhero or a female superhero, or it's never been done right, and they don't have time to go back and look at comics and cartoons and a wide assortment of characters of various races or gender, because it's all about the now, because they don't mind looking like a real asshole because they don't want to take the time to look at the assortment of characters that were black, but they don't focus on the fact that they are black. They're a black character. Black, it's not an issue, and the fact that they're a woman is not an issue. It's not addressed as an issue, much like in He-Man and She-Ra. If there's a character that has black skin, they don't stop to say, well, she is from an African tribe, or he is a descendant of the Zulu people or something like that. No, Malacta is black, and it's not an issue. It's not addressed. There's no mention of it. And the same thing with She-Ra or anything else in He-Man. Is anybody? I mean, come on. It's just, if you're willing to engage in fights over social media with the social justice warriors that exist of a wide assortment of ages, because they think they're fighting the good fight for all-encompassing entertainment and media, then those guys have got, or men, women, whoever, they've all got their heads stuck up their own asses because they didn't bother to research exactly what the stuff originated from. They don't bother to go back and look at all the a wide assortment of comic books that have been done for decades with black characters and female in prominent roles, not just side characters and things like that. The same thing with female heroes and He-Man and She-Ra, like that. I mean, we're here to talk about that. If any of these people took the time, and obviously the people behind the show, they balk at this original show, which is why it's so drastically different, because they clearly don't care about it. They're not interested in the story of She-Ra or any of that stuff, regardless of the restraints of the connection to He-Man. There's still a great story to be told, and we sure as hell didn't get it in this. Joe.
No, and you're right.
It's Joe's points. I mean, they're all reasons why I hated that first season, and I didn't have to watch the whole season to know what it was going to be about. I'm not saying that I can predict everything, but I have a pretty good eye on based on what the animation was ugly. The fact that I thought She-Ra and Frost and Caterpillar and Glimmer were attractive when I was a kid, because that's what I thought. I also thought Maid Marian and Robin Hood was hot too, and she was a fox, literally a fox. So it's more about the animation. Looks ugly as sin. You can't have characters like this talking like they go to your local high school.
I hate that. I hate that connection, that earth feel, the vernacular. I cannot stand it. But, you're right. And I think that's why, beyond what we're going to do with our commentary, I thought it'd be refreshing to talk about some of the creatures, because that's what I mean. That's what I loved. When I tune into He-Man and She-Ra, I love tuning into a cartoon where I was going to see some amazing creatures, amazing powers, abilities, the looks of these characters. And that's why I figured we could talk about some of our top giant creatures, beings, whatever, within Masters of the Universe, Princess of Power. Things that obviously is very sorely lacking in this new She-Ra, and guaranteed you will not see, because they're focusing more on just all the humans and just human relationships and elements and connections and what kids go through, which that's not why I tune into a fantasy cartoon.
I had one of our loyal listeners, and a really good guy. I like talking to him. And if he hears this, he knows I'm talking about him. Sent me a couple screen caps of one of the episodes, and he was just ranting and raving about this one particular scene. And it's like, yeah, they're not interested in telling a compelling action adventure story about a female hero, and it's more about emphasizing the agenda of the writers on this staff, which we don't need to go into the background of the people behind this show, because if you've watched the show or researched or heard about it, you know who wrote the show, and that a lot of the show puts a lot of emphasis on that instead of telling a great action adventure story, which is what it should have been to begin with. And I just thought, and he got it, and he was just like, this is ridiculous, and I can't stand this, and look what they're focused on. And the pictures he sent me, they look like stuff from like a modern sitcom. Like the scenes that were going on is like, this looks like something you'd find like primetime, Who Gets a Rat's Ass Thursdays on NBC. That's what it looked like. I thought, well, this looks nothing like, as if it didn't already, but this clearly, like the way they're dressed, the scenario itself, they look like modern day people, like Joe said, like cosplaying. That's what it all looks like, because they're all, they're visually unappealing, not just through the animation, but the visual looks of these characters. They're just lazy. All of them are lazy, just because not just because they're trying to include plus size looking characters or forced in, gender changes for the sake of it. They're just ugly looking characters. And I just thought, dude, it's absolutely ridiculous what you're showing me here, and I completely understand, and I'm glad we're on the same page about it, But I'm not going to go on various pages and start attacking people and stuff like that. Because if you listen to what Joe says, if you're going to say that, take it as like slamming you for liking it, then you clearly you got too much wax built up in your ears. You're not listening to, and if you're not listening to the fans who just say things like they don't like it because they don't like the dialogue, they don't like the look. I just feel like, who the hell are you to tell people it's not for you? Because if it wasn't meant for us, then they should have come up with their own damn creation.
And that's it right there, because they use the name just because the intellectual property, that name that's just guaranteed, oh my God, look who's back. If it would have been just called something else with these characters, it would have been the most overlooked thing that nobody would have cared about at all. And it's true. But yeah, you're right. I've sat there, and again, I did say, People like it, great. And if you don't like it, good. But learn to just, like I always say, respect each other back and forth. I've never just gone onto my page on here and say, you're all idiots because you like the new She-Ra. You're stupid. Why would you watch that? I've never done that. But when people will speak up saying I don't like it, usually people will attack saying, oh, God, you're sick. Like, they start doing the name calling. It's like, hey, if I'm not calling you names, don't call me names. So as long as people keep it civil back and forth, great. And if you like it, good. And you don't, you don't. But I just said why I don't like this cartoon at all. And yeah, had to ramble that. But
well, now, in case listeners are wondering, will you be watching the inevitable season 3 that's coming?
Yes.
Up?
Yep, and that's the thing.
What the hell for? No, all right, now, Joe, that's why I'm like, okay, why? What to prove what point? You've hated 1 and 2, and you're going to watch 3 for what? Are you that bored? I mean,
pretty much. No,
give me the biggest legit reason that
no,
you just.
Honestly,
I gave you the opportunity to rant and rave about why it was so bad.
Oh, sure.
And you're going to voluntarily watch 3. Why?
Because well, that's the thing. Well, for the people that if I was to say season 3 sucked, and wait, hold up, and they said, what are you talking about? You didn't even watch it. How would you know? That's why I always, if I'm going to go into an argument or into a fight or any debate, I want to know what I'm talking about. So trust me, these 6 episodes.
That makes no sense after this point, though. 2 seasons in,
I still want to know.
Watch 3 seasons to prove that few people who just want to argue for the sake of arguing.
No, you're right. I can understand. No, and I completely understand what you mean, and that does make sense. But for me, I like just being ready. I like being armed in case somebody tries to attack. It's like, I'm armed. I'm going to come back with you. Hell, think about that. I watched all that season 1, and when me and Nathan did our review of that and talked about it, even after me explaining, somebody in the chat room, or not the chat room, I'm sorry, when they left a comment, they said, well, it clearly shows you didn't watch all season 1 because of this happened and this happened. And I was like, if you listen to what I said during my commentary, you'd heard I addressed this and this. But you're right, people are always ready to attack, and I'm not going to let people attack me.
But that right there, just because some asshole who had nothing better to do than to sit and not listen to the discussion you guys had, you shouldn't feel obligated to go and continue to keep putting thorns up your ass.
You know me. I won't let it go.
Come on. Like you know as well as anybody else, because of how long you've been in social media and customizing stuff, people are going to say stupid shit to you. And I feel like, dude, man, I don't know why you would want to devote your time, because, I think it's safe to say the vast majority of the people who listen to this podcast, they probably, a lot of them disagree with me quite often. But with you, I think for the most part, whether they agree or disagree with you, they respect your opinion on that. But dude, you do not should have.
Hold on. You know why? Well, first, like I said, I guess people are saying I'm a glutton for punishment, but Grimbot just said, come on, Tyler, you're talking to a guy who ate a tarantula for our amusement. So I think that pretty much shows,
Joe clearly is a monkey, and he loves to date, even for free. Like, he's not getting coins being thrown. He'll just say, well, somebody look at me here, man. I don't like this, man. Look at me. I'll tickle my pizza, and I'll eat doggy do and then throw it at you.
I am one glutton for punishment.
Has a point, but dude, man, your reason behind it should not be because some random person who doesn't want to take time to not only research, which means listen to the podcast, and that they clearly did not. You shouldn't feel obligated unless you sincerely, like if you were like Nathan and you just like watching the shittiest movies, so you can get drunk to it, and like you wouldn't believe the silly shit I saw in this movie. But that's not your approach. Your approach is because some guy in Guadalajara or in some some small town in East LA or New York or what it could be in Argentina, it could be in London, whatever the case may be, says you did like this, and this. Like, by God, I'll prove it to you. I'll watch season 3. I'll watch it in an hour, and even though they're like 30 minutes long, I'll still watch all of it in an hour, and I'll show you.
I'll show you some.
Like, Joe, does the sun not come out in parts unknown? Like, do you not go outside? Do you go to the grocery store? Do you eat? Do you step outside? Do you have a reason to get out of bed? Because I kind of feel like there has got to be so many other things to do with your life than to watch season 3 of the show because someone may accuse you of being a sexist pig, to quote Jesse Spano.
I gotta do it. That's all. I guess that's the only thing I can say.
Why? Who do you owe this to? Who? Is it all right, live, whatever, whoever's in the chat room, does Joe owe you to watch season 3 of this because you called him he hates lesbians, or he hates gays, or he hates this, or he hates that. So now Joe has they'll think I'm a hate monger, and I have to watch season 3, and it'll be shit, and I have to prove it. And
we wouldn't get these good moments.
5 come out, which it'll be next week. I'll have to sit and watch those. And
see, we wouldn't get this good stuff. It'll get you going nuts. That's another good part of it.
This was not intended. You don't try to write this as a reason for you to watch season 3.
Oh, it is. It is. I'm gonna do it. I'll watch season 3, and I'm gonna relish destroying it when I get the chance to watch it. So, we'll see how.
In hopes that someone's gonna disagree with you about the show. Is that big? All right. Let me ask you.
Maybe.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to offer like a hefty ransom. If they want the season 3 review. What if nobody comes after you for season 3? What if no one's asking you about your opinion on season 3? What are you going to do then?
They will, though. They always do.
But no,
they do.
Because I call you out of this because you like to act as if like
everybody that messages me.
You get a sack of like big ass fan mail the size of Santa Claus's toy
well,
sack.
Combined with the messages and also the auto tags and the regular tags, I do get asked a lot. I mean, that's just how it is on social media.
Like they just, even though, do these people who tag, do they watch the podcast or listen to it, or they just, there's people who have to habitually tag everything?
No, really. Honestly, there's a lot of people that don't listen to the show or don't watch it, but still interact with me on the lot.
Acknowledge that because they don't bother to listen to that. You devote your time once a week to give your thoughts and opinions on this stuff.
And for the ones that don't, I'll tell them, I'm like, I talked about this here on Fans of Power, and then I link them. I'm like, oh, okay, never watched before. Now I will.
Are they watching it? Or are they too busy watching, like, Lore Legends talks about, I got this and this, and I read this shit off the internet,
Zentron wants you to flip the table. Okay. But no, so we'll see how it is. But I do get a lot. You know how it is when I'm doing things on Facebook. I'm honestly,
and you just say, oh no, I get a lot, and I swear it's like, because he's done it to me. He's like, I got a lot of people. Joe, how many was it? Well, it was quite a bit. How many? 2. Well, 1.5.
Well, no, on different things when we were.
In Joe's mind, you have to bring in inflation, which means 1,000.
No, that would be like in relation to sometimes when there would like be feedback, and I said, Tyler, man, got a couple people that said some bad stuff. You're like, okay, Joe, how many bad? People said bad stuff too. But no, when I'm saying I get tagged, and when it's in relation to She-Ra or anything,
but it's
over 20. It's a lot.
Someone goes and buys a pack of bubble gum at their local Walmart, they'll tag you in it. Why? I don't know.
I get a lot. It gets over 20 with messages and tags. It'll be a lot. It's over 20 at least anytime when it comes to stuff. So I'll be all set and ready. So now let's go into something good. We'll talk about some of our favorite giant creatures within Masters of the Universe. And Tyler, I'll pass it to you so you can start with something good. It'll bring you back down a little bit, make it a little calm after your Pauly Shore incident. Make it cool.
I need a bucket to throw up in right now. I don't know. It's an awkward transition for me to like. Okay, now just do it to complete knee jerk into. Oh, by the way, well, number 3 is. God, yes, Joe wanted to discuss our top 3 like monsters from Master of the Universe with such enthusiasm in my voice right now. So, but if you listen to this podcast, and the true listener will listen to this, as we have no idea why Joe would be doing something like that. Maybe it'll be explained sometime in the near future. Anyway,
keep going.
But yeah, he wanted to discuss our top 3 kind of larger than life creatures from Master Universe. Not all of mine will be Leviathans, but 2 of them are. And my first one is and these I feel like these are the ones that had resonated with me since childhood, and to this day, like, they're memorable, not just because of that, but because I still look at them as like very memorable creatures. And number 3 is Colossor, because not only did like the VHS box and the Greatest Adventures of All, but it was such a memorable Cyclops statue that and obviously we're doing a commentary on it tonight, and I'll get into it more later. But it was just such a memorable visual. The voice that Lou Scheimer did, it was quite a menace in the episode, something that people quite feared, and the Skeletal relished in bringing to life. like when someone did a custom of it in the early days of He-Man.org, I was like, oh my god, someone made a spot on Colossor like in scale to like He-Man figures. It was amazing, and
I seen that. That was a big boy. That was a cool custom. Yeah,
it was an awesome custom, and I just thought it was awesome to see that kind of love for that character, and and I think universally, like whether the episode is talked about a great deal or not, people always remember Colossor from that episode, and it's just a big statue, but it's a great name. Kind of playing off Colossus, a large, monstrous, menacing creature of some kind, and it was just the purple, I guess just purple rock he's made out of. What I don't know, metal. It's not. It's even though when He-Man destroys him, it sounds like metal cracking, but don't know really what he's really made out of. Maybe purple quartz or something like that. But a very memorable monster, in my opinion. So that's my third one.
Well, memorable and also kind of mysterious, because we probably, as we do the commentary, won't be able to, dive into like what I'm going to say right now. But also, like I said, it's mysterious. Wondering, well, was he ever, like, how Skeletor wants to bring him and animate him, bring him to life, and there's obviously something that can do that. But you wondered, like what put him into his stasis? What did he do in the past? It's kind of like a mysterious being of, you wonder what he conquered and how he was stopped, or was he always just a mystery of like something that maybe was never animated, but within some type of magical powers, something would happen to bring him to life. I always was fascinated about him because there wasn't a lot about him, and then when, like you said, you see him get shattered at the end, it's like, well, that's pretty much the end of Colossor, but his presence in his, time on screen, it was memorable though.
Yeah, I mean, because it's played out as a constant build. I mean, plus with the title alone, you know this is going to be like it's obviously a pivotal character, and which honestly I never really thought too much of it. I just had always took it, and Joe brings up an interesting point too, that I just took it as it's just a very large statue, kind of like in Jason the Argonauts, all those bronze statues on the Isle of Bronze, like they're just statues there. And then you find out Talos comes to life, that you take from them, the statue will come to life to defend the gods and things like that. But with this, I took it like Skeletor's ultimate plot is to bring Stone to life. This is just a monstrous statue that has been given a name. Maybe it was created in of the actual Colossor, like there was an actual creature with actual flesh and blood, and this was made as an homage to this monstrous creature. And that jewel that's put down there, obviously it's put there as a plot device. It's not really explained, but you can say that jewel, is a symbol of, the power that Colossor had on this planet at one point. And when he was vanquished, his followers and slaves, they built the shrine and encased the source of ultimate power. And then Skeletor comes up, like, I could bring Stone to life, like with this. And I don't know, it's just something, but somebody else would get the bright idea and come up with some sort of like shitty, lame ass idea, and they're like, "Oh God, that Colossor Awake sucks because this asshole decides to come along and create this like also epic, tragic backstory." Like, man, stick it up your ass.
All right, no, but I love your choice of Colossor number 3. My number 3 would be Shadow Wing, because I mean I love dragons. I always love dragons with fantasy, and in Masters.
I think our buddy Spike likes dragons too, especially Shadow Wing. There, wink, wink.
Okay, I'll have to see what that's about. Not quite sure.
Exactly, but it's a private joke.
Okay, all right. No,
you're not supposed to know what it means, Joe.
No, don't want to. That's fine. But like we all know how Granomir has a certain distinct look, and there's a lot of Morning Star has a distinct look, but most dragons kind of always usually the same, how they're drawn or what they do. But I love just having Shadow Wing be another dragon that could speak, and a dragon with a lot of magic. A dragon that could shoot so many powers out of its mouth and turning things to stone, turning things to like crystal. It's like he was so powerful, and he was somebody that, I mean, I loved any time Granomir would show up, but Shadow Wing was one that I remembered as a kid hoping there'd be more of, because I had a lot of just fantasy dragon just figures as a kid, and I even in my other room that I never show, I have a lot of dragons with jewels and gems. But Shadow Wing is he's my number 3 pick as for a creature and being giant.
I really felt like it's a shame we'll never get to ask Larry to tell her that, but I'd always had wondered too, because a lot of times when they come up with these characters in the script, they don't translate well to screen. You kind of feel like, because you often find out that the creature that's in the script was not what the intention was when you see it on screen. Like they just kind of use like generic stock because those dragons had been used in previous episodes. I'm sure from their viewpoint, we'll just save money and just use one of those other dragons, like design wise. When really, I just wish they had just colored it black, like a black dragon, much like the dragon in Sleeping Beauty. When Maleficent turns into the black and yellow dragon at the end of Sleeping Beauty, that's what I always envisioned Shadowwing to really look like. But the episode, like I thought was great, but I just felt like it's just the same kind of turquoise or kind of emerald green or teal blue almost like all the other standard dragons except for in Battle of the Dragons where all the dragons are red. But I just kind of felt like it's the same kind of and you just kind of feel like with a distinct name. This dragon can perform, magic
in a way,
and sorcery.
To be honest, because again, Morningstar is a very unique looking dragon, and almost like Morningstar, you could almost picture if he could have been more designed like that with all that magic, that would have been another memorable thing. Yeah, because I see what you mean. Because it's hard to change up dragons so much, but that's why we know Granomir has a distinct look, Morningstar does, and Shadowwing tweaked, but definitely a lot of abilities, which made him a little cooler. And Grimbot even said he thinks that Shadowwing may have had a different design initially. He says he'll check. So we'll have to see on that. Thanks for that.
But I will say to their credit, though, with Filmation, at least when they introduce him and his wings are folded up and his wings spread back and his head lifts up, which is animation we had never seen before, or since. So at least, like, look, if we're going to do the same, like, stock use of dragons, at least give him, like, some brand new animation to show he's encased in the shrines. At least I feel like they were giving a little bit more to the character, and not just the dragon invasion dragons just kind of, flying around and, talk a little bit. So, they tried, regardless of the limitations, if there was intended.
Okay.
But yeah, good choice, man.
Thank you. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is the Darklings from House of Shikoti Part 2. Because as a kid, I didn't know what the hell they were.
They were scary.
And it was either this or the Karok from Betrayal of Stratos, because I always like, which is the same the Mother Row from Valley of Power, but I always saw it as the Karok and not the Mother Row because I didn't see that till many years later. So it's always going to be the new protector of the Egg of Evian, and the Darkling. As a kid, it was just like a mesh of tentacles and eyeball and like these kind of big pouty lips with teeth. And you couldn't understand what the hell they were as a kid. Like, I don't know what that is, but they got like vampire teeth and big lips like Shikoti. I don't know what the hell that is. Like, and they wrap around me like, and of course I knew nothing of H.P. Lovecraft and any of that stuff. And I still don't know much about it. I just know that a lot of those characters were inspired by that. And to this day, when I look at them, I mean, just this mess of tentacles and one eye, and like when you would see the ones around Stanley, like the mouth would be over here and the eye is over here. Like, what the hell is this thing? And it just from that alone made it such a memorable creature. Like the whole nest of these things flying at you and wrapping you up in their tentacles.
And they had more than one mouth, didn't they? Didn't they have like a couple mouths on their bodies?
You feel like there's like multiple mouths and one eye, or maybe even multiple eyes. You just didn't know, but they were such a mangled mess of tentacles and things. It was, I felt very scared for Stanley as a kid watching it, which is why I didn't rent that tape that much, because of all the messed up shit in that episode as a kid. Because I had no balls as a kid. It didn't take much to scare me, and that scared the shit out of me. So. But that's my number 2.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, hell, everything that you were picking from the House of Shikoti, almost all the creatures from the rat to Shikoti to the sleeping beast.
But I also didn't want to pick something that scared me. But I felt like, those things, and that rat monster scared the piss out of me too. The sleeping beast really didn't have much of it. I thought it was creepy, but not like the Darklings and that giant rat.
He didn't get to do much. Yeah, the Sleeping Beast didn't get to do much. And I think I told you before when we did commentary for the House of Shikoti, I said out of all the creatures in that scared me most, it was the rat, because it was the thought of, my God, could you imagine a giant rat? Because we have rats in our world. So that was one thing that kind of took me back. Like, oh, Jesus, God, I'd never want to see nothing like that. But I like the choice of the Darklings because, they spooked me too. Zen Brown said that he enjoyed the most were the Rock and Sand Giants. He said those always stood out for him in Filmation. Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. Those are pretty cool. We still need to have a figure of them. I'd love to see figures of those. But
well, Joe, that's why you're supposed to custom this stuff, because we sure ain't gonna get it from anybody else at this point.
Well, you never know. Cross your fingers.
See,
maybe
Joe,
someday.
You need to take it upon yourself to take the initiative and just take a chance of who the hell will not pay a few $100s for a Raybar, a rock, a warrior figure like that. Like who wouldn't want a Raybar or paint it brown to say he's a sand monster or something like that, Joe?
Yeah, he wouldn't. No, I admit he would be fun to make, and maybe one day in the future. It's because I don't think we'll probably ever get him. I'd love it if we get officials.
Why don't you just say, get off my porch, kid? You bother me,
No, seriously, I always would love to see those. But my number 2, and I know you don't really like him that much, but it's just somebody I love. I have always loved Mulcrum. I love that creature. He's so weird.
Like, all this is just gonna be Joe repeating the same damn answer.
No, I had to say number. No, I had to say him for number 2 though. I had to do it because I did see, and that's the thing when we were talking about how you don't see the stuff in the new Netflix She-Ra, and look at everything we're talking about of all these amazing creatures that you're just not getting in this new cartoon. So many missed opportunities of creating these things that could be so fantastic that you don't get. That you're right, you have a creature that, yes, you could basically say it's some weird kind of goofy looking centaur half creature, weird long tentacle arms with Superman powers. But for me as a kid, it really did appeal to me. Because I thought he was going to rip into Grayskull. I thought he was going to take over. When you see that stuff that can shock you, that can have that kind of impact with you in a cartoon as a kid, you're doing something right. And I know a lot of people just said he looked like a mess. Like, I remember making the custom. Yeah, and he did, because there was a lot of weird shit. As a kid, though, I just remember, like, this is scaring the hell out of me. It was just weird, but it was memorable. He was just a memorable, gigantic creature with a lot of weird powers, but I can understand the people that think he's weird looking. It just looks like a confusing character.
I would issue this as a challenge to Joe, who Joe is damn good at Photoshop, is to make alterations, because the blonde hair is the biggest no-no, because I feel like, the face and the upper body look great. Like when he's when the fire's in front of him, he lurches up and yells. The horns, like that looks great, but that blonde hair, that has got to go. If you're going to make him kind of like a horse, it needs to have kind of like a mohawk mane at the back of his head to kind of add a little something. If you want, which to me, he doesn't even need hair. But if you're going to go with the whole centaur look, the hair has got to go in general, or I'd give him kind of like a horse's mane that kind of looks like a mohawk down the back of his head. Because that flowing blonde hair, it just looks like he's this guy was like, we encase him
a supermodel or something.
Yeah, it just looks like they're, hey, we're going to encase him in ice. Throw this big ass wig on him, humiliate him. He can't do anything about it because he's encased in ice. And I just kind of feel like the upper body and the tentacle arms, which look menacing, they don't quite fit the horse body. It's like the Kraken and the Search for the VHO. The bulk of it looks good, but then you throw on the bird beak, it looks out of place. Like, this doesn't look right, And
that thing was bad. That thing was really bad.
It was terrible. And I think James Luchuk thinks that's great. I think, I don't know, James, if you hear this, you have to defend that, because it's a good idea. But boy, that face looked like shit.
Okay.
But I would be curious to know. Like, I know you genuinely like all of Mulcrum, but could you make possible changes to the character to make him look more slick and more menacing than he was before, by either getting rid of the blonde hair altogether or doing something?
I'll do some photoshopping. I'll tell you what.
I'm just curious if you could do that, because
I can.
There's something there, but it's not complete. It's a mess.
Yeah, I'll try. I think I got about 3 visions in my head of things I could do, and I'll try. What's funny is every time I've seen somebody do a custom of that figure, including myself, the hair is always the hardest and weirdest issue. Everybody that's ever done Mulcrum, I admit, when I did, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then I seen other people do it, and I was like, I can see what they're trying, but they're having issues too. It's different, because I do love I love his crazy ass tentacle arms and everything. His design, he looks so muscular and intimidating. His face, like you said, when he's screaming and has that mouth open, his abilities,
and that looks good. But that blonde hair, it cuts his balls off. I'm just saying that
the hair is a weird choice. I'd love. Yeah, and hey, maybe Grimbot would know that. I'd love to know if Mulcrum ever had maybe any different designs in mind with the hair, because it looked like, you're right, that is his most confusing part. But as for my number 2, I do pick Mulgrim. And then go ahead with your number 1.
Well, my last one is he was only featured in one episode, as most of these creatures were, but is the Dracodon. Featured on the Volume 3 VHS, which is how I saw this was on the Volume 3 VHS, and I would rent it from King Video a lot. And that picture, that was the first time I ever saw it. And I was so intrigued by just that one shot. I just want to show Joe that again. That angle of the Dracodon right there, like that kind of cocked back head. I just thought, oh my God, like it looked so cool and so menacing. So when I rented it and he rose out of the tar swamp and he's kind of cocking his head at Skeletor, like, I'm going to eat all of you. Like, oh my God, this is this amazing, prehistoric creature with this cool name. And he looked different from the side because it's like his mouth kind of protruded out, but from that perspective, he looks more humanoid almost. And that it looks so cool to me. But to this day, I just thought that was such an amazing looking creature, that it was a prehistoric creature. I like to think that it existed during the pre-Eternity days, that those things were running around fighting T-Rexes and stuff like that, But I love that so much that hopefully it'll get done someday. Axel did an illustration for me. It's it's been like almost, I think it's over a year now waiting on this thing. But the Dracodon is featured in this commission I bought from Axel. So because I've always wanted to see it done more, and because I love that. I love that creature. I would love to see it revisited a lot more, because the Shriekers that are featured in it, they're using quite a few episodes. But that Dracodon, man, that was just the name Dracodon. It's gold, or as he talks, it's purified gold.
Oh, that's his catchphrase.
Well, I've seen him say it in a lot of his videos. I guess, am I the only one who watches his videos and pays attention to the stuff he says?
Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, you might be. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the stuff. No, I'm sure plenty of people have seen.
Oh, of course you haven't. You're too busy out there arguing with one person about, I'm not a sexist. I'll tell you, I did watch the whole damn thing. I'll watch it again.
No, I've watched a lot of James stuff, not everything though. So I mean, I'll probably have to get around to seeing more of the stuff that he's done and more of his research. Because if anybody knows everything about Filmation, it's him and you and Dushin.
I would give myself like an honorable mention with those two. I'm proud. I would like to think I could, I could stand up there next to those two in the He-Man fan community and feel like when people see me, like, you know what? Yeah, we'd put him up there. We'd give him the bronze medal, but he deserves to be in the top 3. I'd like to think. But Danielle knows her shit really, really good about Filmation. So I think I would have to fight with her to get that 3rd place. That would be an interesting a battle royale. The 4 of us in the ring fighting for the top spot of like Filmation.
God, if we could only find a way of getting that many multiple people on a podcast, and then we could like quiz you guys and see who could ring in first and who would know the information, that would be interesting. That would be, because
I'm quite certain James would. I mean, because he's been doing the research. I mean, since the early days of the internet, when I wanted to do the same thing, but I didn't have the means or anything like that. But I'd probably have to give it to him because he's been at it for so long, and since the 90s. I think since the late 90s, I believe. So
okay,
but, yeah.
All right. Well, my last giant creature that I love, that's one of my favorites, is one. It was just because it was a fascination from the kid. It's Megator. It's a toy. Never had the toy, but it was this mystique of first knowing about him that long ago, waiting in anticipation, never having it. And then I used to, like, in my head, just imagine having this toy. Fast forward to years later, find out that this thing was released. And then eventually, of course, we got it for classics. Eventually, I found that amazing deal on eBay. And then I think in a comic in Italy, he appeared. I don't think there was much of an appearance, or like there wasn't a lot for him. But he was just, again, this is something that we didn't see on TV or in the cartoon. But I was going to include toys too. But it's just fascinating because I love the thought. I love looking at that box art then, later and seeing that and just seeing how massive he'd be, and in prehistoric times. Megator is somebody that I wish we could have got so much more, because hell, when he came in classics, I mean, he was an afterthought that got thrown into the jaws or something of the Eternia playset. How did he get killed off? I can't even remember, but I remember I was so
it was
pissed.
Part of the classics bullshit. Aside from what Danielle, and oh god, the other gentleman, the gentleman that's like working with her on now, and I forget, is it Nate Nate. Damn it! I'm sorry. I apologize, Danielle. You know, I make a mistake. I forgot the other guy that's working with it, but he does a great job on this bar. But they're not responsible for that. It's the horse shit that was written before that. I don't subscribe to any of that bullshit. I still, and I would like to think with something called Master of the Universe Origins that they would, actually complete what was supposed to be the Powers of Grayskull storyline, which was giving us the whole story of Hero and seeing Titus and Megator and King Hiss and the Snake Man and the dinosaurs running around and no King Grayskull bullshit or any other nonsense that was incorporated in there. And it's about the story of Hero, the creation of Castle Grayskull, I'd assume.
I always say that too. To you imagine, I mean, that's the things, the what ifs and what could have been if this line could have continued and we would have got Eldor and Hero and maybe even they would have did Gray or something as alter ego.
Because I really feel like Titus and Megator, because in that first mini comic when the sorcerer says, "What's in that way?" she says, "That's the land of the giants." Like that's our only hint at Titus and Megator. And when you see in like the Power and Honor Foundation book, you see all those that large splash print of He-Man looking at pre-eternity, and all the giants are fighting dinosaurs and killing villagers and stuff like that.
Could you imagine having mini comics with them back then? How cool that would have been to have Titus and Megator in
Larry
there.
Houston illustrating that because he did that. Yeah. The Powers are great. I'm like,
oh yeah, and they wouldn't have been dismissed. That's what I mean. We would have got multiple comics. It wouldn't have been like one would have got killed off. Oh, he's gone. No, we would have had many stories of these beloved heroes and villains. But I would have loved to have seen what could have happened with Titus, Megator, bringing in Gigantosaur, all the other giants, any of the Snake Men, prehistoric, Eternia. Oh God, what could have been? But yeah, Megator is
That also, because you said something that also jogs something in my head too about of all the artwork that Errol McCarthy did that used the current roster of characters depicted with the dinosaurs. Like that, one of my favorite ones is one that you showed many years ago, and I found it again since. But it was Hero with Cyclone and He-Man with Gigantosaur.
Yeah.
Like the idea that Mattel wanted to push, the main staple of characters with this new storyline. It's a backstory, but it's like, what would you get? Like He-Man going back to the past multiple times and teaming up with Hero, and he takes Cyclone with him. I mean, obviously, it's just advertising artwork or marketing artwork for like T-shirts and pajamas and stuff. However, to have them cross over like that, I kind of feel like Mattel would want to continue to push He-Man in this to let kids know this is part of He-Man's mythology, because He-Man shows up much like with She-Ra. He-Man's not in every episode, but he shows up in quite a few. Like with this, would He-Man go back in time using the Cosmic Key or the Sorcerer's Gateway and take a couple of his buddies with them or something?
It's stuff we'd never know. And one quick thing is, it's not that it's a big deal, but I think I remembered when I did show that picture of Hero with, Cyclone and He-Man and Gigantosaur, and it looks like the opening side of that dinosaur. If I'm not mistaken, I know it's going to sound bizarre, I don't think that was supposed to be Gigantosaur, because Gigantosaur had a different way he opened. I think this was a different dinosaur, and you know what? I don't know if he was name dropped. As crazy as that sounds, I can't remember if he was in one of them books. I don't know if it was Power and Honor 1, but I swear that they described and they maybe said it had possibly a different name, but I do know what you're talking about. Either way, I know what you mean about going into the past. But
I only assume that because it was a Brontosaurus, and I feel like obviously.
Or inspiration of what would have been Gigantosaur, either or, like there are basic concepts,
because I feel like there's always tweaks here and there. Because but I did feel like the toy feature for Gigantosaur, that it would swallow full figures and then comes out the back, and you can take him out to kind of play up the whole like he eats people thing. But you kind of feel like there would have to be an opening in his stomach, to justify like He-Man sitting in the chest piece that comes out and reveals like a cannon. You kind of feel like there needs to be other stuff going on for He-Man to get inside this dinosaur, for it to be kind of like a walking battleship almost, that it would have to open up from the side and show, this technological, war room inside this massive dinosaur that you could go in, and it almost feels like it almost have to be like an android, like a robot with the mind of a dinosaur almost, because you just kind of feel like T-Rex. It's just fascinating to think about. But if you think about it too much, you take away a lot of the fun about it.
Yeah. And one last thought of saying something before we transition into our commentary, and then we're going to do questions after the commentary. So stick around, and we'll have something to say at the end of the show. So you have to stay to the end, trust me. But one quick thing is, if Mattel now with the Origins line, and I doubt they'd ever do this, and I don't think it would devalue anything because I know some people are concerned about things getting devalued, but I'd love it if they were able to get a hold of a vintage Titus, vintage Megator, mold cast, and make that readily available for people in the United States who never got it, and for people who can't afford to pay $2,000 to $3,000 for those things internationally. Get a nice one. Yes, it's going to have a new stamp on the back, but either way, it's not going to devalue the originals because trust me, people are still going to go after those in droves.
But if it's an original, you know it's an original, and
right.
they're about as scarce as it gets. So no, that's not
right.
Yeah, but for them to re-release like an original, like a replica, like the commemorative line, and that original box art with like the castle motif or the mountain motif of Megator,
be great. Wow.
Oh God, man, with the same like scroll on the back of the box, kind of giving that small synopsis of what the giant was about and hero fighting or fighting alongside.
It'd be great.
Now that's something I wish Mattel was about doing instead of just well, here's the same characters again, people.
Yeah. Well, we don't want Tyler to lose it again, but yeah, just a quick little thought. But well, now you can tell people what they're going to have to do when we go into this commentary, and then we'll get to all the questions. But you know the drill to give them.
Yeah, just Colossor Awakes is available on YouTube. There's a couple links for it. I'm using the official He-Man YouTube channel. Of course, I have no ads for it, so if you don't have YouTube Red yet, you may have to sit through the ads. I can't do anything about that, but I'm sure there are other uploads of it as well because there's been a few other people over the years who've uploaded all these episodes, and no, it's not like a foreign language transfer or something like that. It's the actual episode. Just look up Colossor Awakes on YouTube. It should be pretty easy to find. But I'm going to do a countdown here, and we will kick this thing off. Let me mute it real quick so I don't get sued by YouTube or something like that.
Right.
3, 2, 1, action.
There we go. What happened to good old days of cartoons? Damn it! Just had to say that.
Yeah, I mean it's I know so many people, and you see like a assortment of like 80s pages. Like back in my day, this is my Saturday morning. Like, yes, we get that, but I just cartoons are still around, but they just it's a shame that they don't really want to push the action adventure. Even into the 90s, action adventure was still a mainstay, whether it was quality or not. It was still plentiful on TV, and you still had your light and fluffy kind of talking animal kind of cartoons or something like the Smurfs on TV, along with action adventure. Now it's just it's obsolete. If it's something, it's like a Ben 10 kind of thing where it just kind of looks very kiddie as opposed to like grown men and humanoid creatures kicking each other's ass and stuff like that. It's just like I don't even know if Transformers like the current stuff would be considered action adventure based on how they're treated.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't seen any Transformers cartoons. I mean, I haven't watched any in years, so I don't know the quality and what they're like, but I'd hope that they keep somewhat the same magic of what, we grew up with. But, here we go. I loved every time the episode would start off with Snake Mountain. I loved that music, but anytime you got to see, and anytime you got to see any interior of Snake Mountain, it always fascinated me.
And this wasn't shown much because on the Greatest Adventures of All, it starts right here with Skeletor walking out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't everything we just saw before that was not on VHS, so it wasn't until DVD that I got to see any of that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And seeing Panther's always great. Like the idea of Panther's hanging out inside the collector with Skeletor just being a loyal pet to him. I just like, and that Beast Man would have the nerve to sleep on his big blanket just like he didn't give a shit. I got to rest.
And I was convinced we were going to get this vehicle as much as eventually we've seen more of it, but how they're really focusing, I was like, this is going to be one cool vehicle to get. Such a shame we never got the collector in vehicle form.
Yeah, especially with when Mattel was, and I always like seeing these, even though I can't play chess, but these chess-like games are always fascinating to me on this show.
Yeah.
But you really would have thought like when they incorporated, King Randor and the Sorceress and Orko, and Mattel they're obviously pulling from information that the Collector would have been, something like the Fright Fighter. It wouldn't have been as big as it's depicted in the show, but probably big enough to at least put 2 evil warriors in it. Like you would open up the top of it and put Skeletor and like a bone throne, and then enough room for like 1 evil warrior to sit behind him or something like that.
Yeah, and there went 2 palace guards. Put the stone. I remember, you knew they were onto something, and then, even when they showed the stone things in the background, you know when something's gonna happen eventually later. Even as a kid, you knew some things, but yeah, I like this. I like seeing just like, good God, what's going on with this thing? And he's just turning everything to stone. It's like, this looks like it's an unstoppable. Oh, of course, in this part here, we'll see.
But you never gets tired of watching this transformation sequence. It's just as energizing the first time I saw it. So, especially if you play it really loud, And
that's when you know what, like I always said, that's when you know what's on in the cartoon. When you'd see that, it's like, oh, here we go. And when Adora would turn into She-Ra back, and it's like, here we go. Nowadays, you watch it, like, oh, okay. So I mean, look at the magic. It is nothing. Just feel the music. It just, you hear it's like, damn, these poor kids don't know what they're missing.
No, it's. I remember, as a kid, like thinking, like, how do you not know that Skeletor? Like, because of the bone face. But the point is, like, this is the first time this vehicle.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing. So the audience, like the characters, would not know.
Right.
So it's the kids may be ahead of it, but the characters aren't. Which might be fun for the kids to kind of be ahead of the game in terms of what's going to happen. But
right,
it makes sense, and it's it is a shame that we it's not. Featured a great deal in the mythology, but it's such a prominent, memorable piece of the mythology. But when you see the merchandising or in fan art, it's not used that much. People just don't make references to the Collector, but everyone knows what it is, though.
Yeah,
and I got excited about this part here because I thought these statues were pretty cool.
Yep, and that's when you knew it's like, yep. See, I knew they were there for a reason, but. Oh, now I love that because I was like, right when you seen him, and then you seen Battle Cat, you're like, oh, here we go. You always want to see a cat fight.
Which it's a shame that obviously it's quite limited to what they can do, but it would have been cool to see these fights going a lot longer.
Okay, and here comes Captain Worthless and a sword, so whatever.
Shut the hell up.
It's like, hide
behind a mask because ever find out what you look like.
It's like, what is he doing?
Talking to.
I was like, okay, there has to be a reason he's holding the sword. Or Stratos to be there. Oh God!
See, why couldn't we get a 3-pack of these like statues and classics instead of I don't know, some of the others like Decker.
Those would have been cool, and even the stone lion, anything. Shoot, it just Here we go. Just a little.
I just cut into.
I love the yelling back and forth.
Yeah. And the moments like this, like where Beastman has the balls to mock Skeletor right to his face and laugh at him. Like I love moments like this, which they don't last much long.
And he laughs at him. No, he does. Like I said, he relishes it. He wants to see Skeletor fail at times. That's his secret pleasure, I think.
And we'll see it later on in this episode too. Like Beastman being the the plotting against Skeletor personality, where he. Again, another shot of that. But I've always was fascinated by the interior of the Collector too itself. Like the Skeletor's particular throne was so distinct to me. I just thought it was so cool looking. That the color scheme, the skulls, and the bone motif all over. Oh, it was just wonderfully illustrated.
Oh, definitely. Oh, here. Oh, and Stratos, the old flying up in the air and dropping a pot on the head. What a way to take a cartoon down. No, he's a good guy. Stratos is awesome. Kind of.
Remind me to kick your ass later, Joe.
Oh, sorry. I had to do it for Stratos. But there you go, Ram Man. We got to see him do something. Don't know where that pool came from, but still, that was cool.
I assume the statue just sank, because it just stone, just dead weight.
They're all celebrating. All celebrating and poor. I thought this just freaked me out. I mean, as a kid, I didn't realize they were kind of like shackles around him. I remember every time I watched it, I always thought there was tubes in him, and I was thinking like he's in the hospital, and that actually kind of disturbed me as a kid. It took multiple times me seeing that to understand. Oh, okay, he's hooked in a different way, but Yeah, and then when they describe the direness of this, that she's trying all her Earth technology that she's trying, she can't do nothing. They're gonna have to find some other help, and she figures he's got till what, the end of the sundown or something.
Sundown is it's which it's, I mean, you would think too, like the minute you turn to stone, like you're dead, but it's magic. Oh, here's our first shot of Colossor here.
Yep.
I love these ancient ruins itself, which is, it's just fun to think about what used to be here. And as that panning shot and just hearing Beastman yelling, like I just love the fact he just yells a lot, and this conniving plotting against Skeletor.
Someday.
Yeah.
This whole episode, it's like he's been just pissed and just conniving and just things he says to Skeletor, real defiant.
Yeah,
but yeah. There's
that.
That crystal. Yep, and I like that crystal. Like I said, always what could have been. But like you said, some things are best left to our imagination. But either way, seeing them charged to bring this big boy to life.
Even just saying like this was a being that lived on eternity and was a tyrant for decades on the planet. Many followers. They built this up in his to honor his legacy, and he was killed, and it was just all of remains of his run on eternity or something like that. Because I like to think that there was a multitude of major villains on this planet aside from King Hiss and the Horde.
Sure.
If we look at the mythology,
sure.
Feel sorry for this poor farmer here because he probably it's hard. I imagine this guy probably. When they said the spell lasts like once sundown hits over a certain amount of hours, I like it. Evelyn busts his balls here too.
Yeah, it's like
it's
your
fun
power
to see that.
Left.
And that when they would show that shot of Skeletor leaning in, like I just thought, okay, things are about to get intense when he would do that. And here's another zinger. Shut the hell up,
And he wanted to call her more than a witch. He was doing something nice when he was saying.
I mean, you get older, you kind of realize, okay, he clearly didn't mean to say witch there. That's a cool shot of Beastman on the war sled going out of the collector.
The one thing with all these random people that did get frozen, though, and like how that they're eventually going to see how they got to reverse everything. It's like, but did they ever forget about the poor farmer? Did he die? Hell, what about the two palace guards that got frozen before Man at Arms? Where are they at? Just laying around.
Mean, obviously they don't have time to tell everything, but if you think of it in that context, you kind of led to believe that there's some loss in this story. Like lives are lost in this.
Yeah. So that farmer's dead, and those two palace guards are probably dead, and then poor Orko. Now, see, He-Man caught Man at Arms earlier when he turned to stone, so he went and shattered. But Orko isn't too high up, and I figure he doesn't. Well, when he got turned to stone, he'd weigh a little bit, but right here,
that was
boom.
Creepy. When the glass shatters and the music hits, that particular you're like, oh shit, man.
Yeah, because when you first heard the shadow, it's like the shattering. It's like, did Orko just shatter? And then you see, oh, okay, he's okay. But
now I like the swamp bat here. This was a great creation. That
is he a one-off? Because he looks like a one-off. Okay,
he's a one-off. Yep. We'll have wolf bats, but no more swamp bats after this, and a human-sized bat with kind of brown, muddy fur. Like, God, it looks awesome. Or kind of a green, like a forest green motif. Just kick ass.
Yep. And just like a shadow beast, they hate that damn light.
Yep. But I like the fact they're looking up in the air and they hear it in the fog.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole sequence is kind of like Indiana Jones, which I kind of feel like this sequence was probably inspired by Raiders.
And there's a part, and anytime they had that panning shot of He-Man like walking towards the screen, I don't know why I just always thought that was so cool or different to me. It looked like it was just really in motion when he's walking. I don't know. I always like that look.
It's beautiful animation. There's certain bits of animation they did were just, I mean, like you love seeing them because they were so well done.
Yeah.
That right there, what we just saw, that has always been my linchpin to do a Thundercats He-Man crossover. Those fire jewels. I've always wanted to do a story where that is what He-Man is after, and fire jewels would be created from fire rocks, which is Thundranium on Third Earth. And I was like, that's how you get He-Man to cross over with the Thundercats. Like that's always been my go-to for that. And
a real crossover with them.
Yeah. Another great moment here between these two. What? And like, oh my God.
But here we go. And And it was interesting hearing him speak. I didn't think he was going to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was for sure it was just going to be a big, giant thing that Skeletor commanded. It wouldn't say nothing, but hearing it at least speak when it does was, well, you'll see what happens.
Yeah.
At least there's a crack there, so at least that didn't get to Tila. I thought, oh my God, the lava's going to get them, going to get them both. Here's his good throw. And then we're going to see his pole vaulting skills or vaulting skills. See, He-Man's clever. He-Man can use things around. He's got that ingenuity. He's got some ingenuity.
He's intelligent, people. He's not just a meathead. And I like we get to see Skeletor refer to himself as Master of the Universe here.
Yep. There we go.
Ah, so cool.
Going to get Grayskull.
Which
he got his command and he's taking it.
He's just he's just he's one track. I like that. So it makes him such a force, a juggernaut, a Colossus.
There you go. That's where they get it. And now we got to see what's He-Man got to do. He's got to help this out a little bit. Got to get some powder. Get some fine powder. Use some strong hands.
I like how they show that Tila here kind of smiling like, And yes, there's the goof of the sorcerer's headdress is all orange there, which has been
it happens in all all cartoons.
Like, you see, I found a mistake. Well, I'll give you
and that's why
cookie for that.
Exactly, it's bad. It's terrible. This is horrible animation. It's horrible art. It's terrible.
Now this sequence coming up here, I think is by far, I would rank it up there with Evelyn's plot with the confrontation with He-Man and Skeletor coming up. Like this music playing here, and he says, "Wait here while I pay a visit to Skeletor." Like this whole sequence of He-Man attacking the Collector and breaking in and taking on all three of them one after another, and leading up to the epic shot where Skeletor's trying to shove him out of the Collector. God, that's just badass. It just oozes of machismo.
And the universal whistle he does to call every vehicle. Yeah. It's like, I'd be out of luck. That's one thing, as bizarre as it sounds, I cannot do that finger whistle.
Well, it looks like I'm walking.
That's it. Exactly. Right. Battle Cat, how quick can you get us here? Tila, you stay there. This, I admit, again, this was another part. I was like, oh my God, what if he slaps and kills so hard? Because, you pitch that, just done, splattered like a bug. So, but she's keeping distracted.
Shit, we didn't expect that.
Yeah, oops. See it drop, see the blood. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Beastman's figuring, hey, you got Colossor. He could do this without us, but Skeletor wants to see this.
And just having Beastman drive it, no, it's your turn to drive. It's just an interesting thing that they don't focus too much on, other than, slamming the fact that Beastman's a slow driver. But yeah, like leaping onto it, this is such a great action sequence.
And more great animation, again, just showing the whipping of his hair, ripping into that. It's like, you're just seeing a lot of good animation. Anybody that says the animation is terrible, they got their head up their ass.
No. And Beastman,
hey, get to use the whip. I was going to say, we get to see the whip, and, he's going to, take care of that whip, but at least we got to see it. And boom, there you go.
Which even though Panther's taking it pretty quickly, like it was still like menacing to hear him, like hissing at him before he attacks him, and saying Skeletor is like going to take this moment to actually like attack him physically. Yeah, and
I like that, and I like seeing how he attacks him when He-Man's listening to the sorceress, because Skeletor doesn't know what the hell he's listening to.
No,
but look at that,
it's so intense. Like Skeletor just really wants to kill him.
Yeah,
God, like that was just, on Filmation's part, to emphasize the emotion in that, to draw Skeletor's face like protruding out of the hood, because he's really emphasized, I'm going to kill you, He-Man. Like, it's things you don't have to say, it's just implied, and that's great animation, that's good storytelling.
Sure. There's his whistle again. Got to get back on. Boom. There to save
something we talked over is when he elbows Beastman. Out of my way, Beast. It's just, I thought it was great.
Yep. Oh, well, I guess you could say that the other palace guards were put into that pile there. So,
I wasn't going to come out and be like the constant correcting person, because I know I've done that to enough on this podcast. I'm just like, I ain't going to do that shit.
It was my moment to say something earlier, but there's the palace guards. Of course, I always thought, why is he shooting back at them, even though he's already turned them to stone?
It doesn't make sense, but it's...
Yeah.
kind of one of those things that if they had just kind of shown like He-Man standing in front of him, like kind of taunting him to shoot, and he runs out of the way, that might have been worked. But it's just a story error, nothing more.
Yeah.
If you're one of those assholes who decides I'm putting together a YouTube video, I'm finding fault in all these shows, and I'm going to do a 15-minute video on Colossor Awakes and the mistakes it's made.
Yeah. Well, we got 2 people guarding Castle Grayskull. What they gonna do against that big old son of a gun?
Yeah.
Better hope there's some help coming because. But you know what? And that shows again. They don't treat Teela as a woman that's in distress. She's fine with Colossor
She's in
right
over
there.
her head. No. I mean, I'm sorry. He-Man needed help of everybody. It wasn't just He-Man. Like Stratos had to help He-Man push the thing over.
And it's not like he said, now you're a woman, you can't stand here and protect Grayskull. He just said, hey, you two sit here and protect Grayskull. I'll be back. And Teela's right there. She's taunting. She's moving side to side. She's a competent warrior, and she's not treated like she's less than. Again, another good point of how they did it back then.
Yeah, but these assholes don't have time to watch all this stuff. They got to get out there right now and start writing their propaganda.
Yep. Right, and look at how everybody works together. From Man-at-Arms putting that cable around Colossor, Orko distracting him with the light, and Stratos, Ram Man. Yeah, they're all doing something. They're all working together. Nobody is less than. I can't stress it enough.
Stratos pushing hard. He-Man has to lift the ankle up, working together.
Yeah.
It took both of them to tip over Colossor. That's just it's a great way of incorporating the core cast, but giving them specific parts, not just we got to include all the action figures here.
Yeah,
and this is cool. This gradual demolishing of Colossor as he's reaching for Grayskull.
He killed him.
Yeah, and then boom! Oh, it's just powerful imagery. You can't kill He-Man. He's a badass.
Boom! Stand there with the power, right there. That's the way to do it. Save the day.
Which this episode and Mr. Many Faces as a kid were 2 prominent collector episodes for me.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were used quite prominently in those episodes. So I would always kind of get confused, when they kind of end fights. I kind of think, is this the episode where they actually go inside the collector and fight? No, that's Mr. Many Face. I used to get that confused a little bit as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the Royal Palace itself has such an interesting look, kind of makes you wonder about all those various rooms and things. Is the city is down below them? Is it outside there? I mean, I know in hell, it's not even worth talking about. Keep the focus on this episode. I'm not going to get into one of those goofy ass fanboy discussions with 2 minutes left in this episode. I'm not doing it.
Not gonna do it. Orko had his little scare at the end there, so at least Man-at-Arms had a little redemption from getting that water splashed on him earlier after beating Orko playing the chess, and a little thing about running and getting exercise and check with your doctor.
Exactly, people. Here now, if you don't want to hear it from me, hear it from He-Man. I recommend regular exercise, watching what you eat, and be like He-Man.
Yeah, you do that nowadays. Why are you telling people to do exercise? I mean, you can't rule people's lives. Oh, God, here we go.
You're shaming people because they don't exercise. You're fat shaming and all this other stupid shit.
So, that was it. That was Colossor Awakens, and that was a fun commentary. And that's a really good episode. It's definitely a great episode.
Oh, God, yeah. It's it should have been in that top 10. Of course, that top 10 was a I'm still pissed off of that top 10 list that was voted upon years ago.
Yeah,
because what were people thinking?
Now, what was all in that top 10? I can't remember all.
It was 5 from season 1 and 5 from season 2, and Teela's Quest, Evil Seed, a Diamond Red Disappearance, Quest for He-Man, and Dragon's Gift wasn't on there. House of Chakotay wasn't on there. Teela's Quest. That was the other one for season 1. Those are the top 5. And then season 2 was Origin of the Sorceress, Into the Abyss, Problem with Power. I forgot what the other 2 were, but they weren't episodes that I genuinely really liked. I was like, God, man, what
Okay.
And then, I
know you were upset with some of them, man.
Yeah, because I voted in that poll. That poll was voted on Hema.org to decide what episodes would go on. Because this was before they actually announced they're releasing seasons. It was just like they're BCI's doing a top 10 He-Man episode release, and you can vote on what episodes you want. And it was going to be 5 episodes from 1 and 2. I remember doing that and seeing the announcement. I was so pissed. I was legitimately pissed off.
We'll have to definitely get your top 10 sometime. Maybe do it next week. I'd like to hear yours. But Zentron, before you go, you'd have to give us a quote. But now for people in the chat room, if you have any questions for us, whether it's pertaining to the cartoon, the movies, the toys, anything at all, pop it up right here. And while you're doing that, we'll get Nathan back in here because Nathan will hopefully join us for this segment.
I just sent him a message to let him know we're doing the questions now, so he may be watching wrestling pay-per-view or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, God, is there a pay-per-view tonight? Jesus.
I don't know. I don't watch current wrestling. I'm just saying.
Okay, so I was going to say, my God, it seems like they have a pay-per-view every other week.
Because he was asked if he watched like the last year. No, because he doesn't. I think he ain't like you where he just voluntarily watches stuff to torture himself.
Yeah, I'm usually like that with horror movies and stuff. Some of them I'm really a glutton.
Well, yeah, like a really bad horror movie from like the 80s or 70s, like that's one thing. But if you're gonna watch like the current stuff, because you felt like you guys ought to be learning from those mistakes. Like if you got the budget, don't make a shitty film. Like try your best. And when they're clearly not, and they're making like shitty Transformers movies because they just think they can get away with it. It's like, God, man.
And there's some like like that, the ones that are obviously just horrible. And I remember my nephew, he was the one that had me watch Axum. He even, before I watched, he said, Uncle Joe, he says, this is going to be bad. He's like, but you got to see this. He says, it's a horrible hour, or, like about an hour. And I watched it, and it was terrible. I mean, this was just like a budget. I don't know if just people around the house, but I somehow liked it because it was just so stupid. I was like, why do I like this stuff that's so idiotic half the time? It's like, I guess if I'm not really invested of what I'm hoping something's going to be great. If it's dumb, who cares? But if I'm expecting a good horror movie and it sucks, that's when I'm really mad. So yeah, that's that's happening.
Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we missed a lot of people in the chat room just now, and I want to acknowledge all these people that joined us in the chat room. We have Toki Deathnut, Butch Deadlift, Slab Bulkhead, Lump Beef Broth, Biff Webster, Chuck Steak, Butt Muffin, Mookie Blaylock, Wes Bentley, Tony Hulsher, Slab Squat Thrust, Creamy Goodness, Viano 4, El Dandy, Skid Mark Steve, Steve Perry, Krusty Chaves, Dude Man 007, John Starks, Squirrel Master, Kenny's Butthole, Flying Burrito, Del Hunt, Burning Silver, Toki Mousetrap, Joe Mayo, Figs by Todd, My Eggs, Moss-Covered Three-Handled Family Gradunza, and Armbar. Thank you guys for joining us.
Did you spend your entire time off writing that right now?
No,
How long did that take you?
That's what we did coming back from that shitty convention yesterday.
Oh, really? You just came up with a bunch of... Okay.
Yeah, we did this. Like, we're going to come up with this list of, like, throw Joe off. Well, originally Nathan was supposed to open the show and then throw out this ridiculous list. But he's like, I'm going to do it at the end. I'm like, all right.
I ruined it.
Which, it was just done to poke fun at Joe, like interrupting us to say, Mookie Blaylock is in the chat room right now. Okay, back to what you're saying, Tyler.
What is the one you said last week for Toki Deathhammer? What did you call him?
Toki Deathnut or something like that. It was.
It was I think it was like Gookie Deathhammer, or you said, something. I don't know.
It was like Gookie Deathhammer. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was just something because Joe just comes here like, what the hell?
I would never do that to you guys. But Anthony Albanese, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
perfect.
Yeah,
Anthony, you played into the shtick perfectly. Thanks you.
I worked that any better. But yeah, we sat in the car, and Emily was writing down the list, and we're just throwing out slab squat thrusts. All these Mookie Blaylock. Even though it's an NBA basketball player, that kind of plays off like Toki Deathnut or whatever. So throw that one in there.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, I get it. I
don't know.
Well, hey, after that, experience, like, if Nathan hadn't had me laughing my ass off to the point where I was gasping,
he was laughing so hard that he was like crying and then like gasping for air and coughing. I'm like, are you gonna like die in the back seat? He's like, I'm good.
Yeah, I was making that same face. Yeah,
that's what that's what it looked like. He's sitting there like holding his eye, tears are running down his face, and he's just like rubbing his eyes. He's like,
Well, yeah, I had to have something good, like you said, after the
Well,
bad
yeah,
experience.
it was. Yeah, I mean, I was so deflated. So Nathan starts going into making fun of this. And,
Oh, you know why it's still bothering him a day after. Like,
well, I mean,
I
no,
reflect.
right. I mean, right now, like it didn't dwell on me all day, but like, I didn't even talk about it with anybody today. Like, I didn't talk about it with my family, or I didn't post the pictures. I was just like, I don't give a shit. I ain't
But,
talking about it. I'm not
you
interested in talking about it.
but you had good experiences. We had
Yeah.
good ones, but I don't let that bad outweigh the good. There was a
Yeah.
lot of fantastic stuff that happened. Take
Yeah.
the bad, we laugh about it like we did in the car. And
Yeah.
you choke on your spit. And
Well,
cry.
I was gonna say right now I think we sometimes have exhausted a lot of questions because from Adam Gabbert, he did want to know. First, he said, "Congratulations, Nathan, on your engagement."
Oh, thank
But
you.
he said, "Yeah," but he said last week he never did get what your favorite Master Universe Classic created character figure was. I don't even know if you were collecting that at that time, did you or no?
I wasn't.
So
And
you okay?
all right, well, Joe. Okay, well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
No, all right. I'll just go ahead and admit to everybody, I honestly don't know exactly what that is. And people,
That's what I.
why are you on this show? And I'm like, because they want me to be on here every week. Damn it.
Oh, like I said, that was it. We wanted Nathan with his experiences. Like we said, he's not as invested in Masters as Tyler and myself are. But we like getting when we're doing like the mini comic stuff where we bring him in for something. We like that other opinion of somebody might have a fresh perspective who has maybe never read this mini comic in his life, or maybe he only read it when he was a kid and couldn't remember. So we like that, and then we want to bring him in more because we just like the banter and it's fun. And Nathan is starting to relive and experience a lot more of Masters, and mainly, like he said, with Tyler getting him back into a lot of other things and collecting. But that's why we like it. We like another perspective than just Tyler and I talking about the stuff all the time. So that's why we always got to, and it's fun. We love having Nathan.
Well, let's go ahead and explain this to people that are unaware with this creative character stuff. What was the deal here? Was this some sort of like?
Well, years ago, first there was the creative character contest that you could. You had your choices, and it was through a magazine that they had, a Master Universe magazine, and even in the newspaper. And they first let you know, submit your thing. First, they showed the creative character. We had that creative character 2-page thing. It said, use this for an example to get an idea of like things you could use, or just draw your own. And if yours was chosen, you would have your action figure. I mean, your choice, your vision turned into an action figure. You would have been, I think, president of Mattel for a day, and you also would have had your college scholarship paid for. And there was all these different choices. Then came to maybe 6 at the end. And the one that won was the Fearless Photog. And I think it was Nathan Bittner, I believe, was the person. Yeah, he's the one that came up with that. But unfortunately, that's when Masters Universe kind of went away, and we never got that in action figure form. So it was sucked in, and it was unfortunate. You fast forward all these years later, and when Classics came out, they were doing it again. They said fans can sit there and submit of what they would want to have turn into an action figure, and Castle Grayskull Man won. But along with
which I know is Tyler's absolute favorite.
God Almighty!
So Castle Grayskull Man won, and we finally got Fearless Photog in action figure form, which was great. But then a lot of the other things, isn't that when we started getting Mighty Spector and
because it was a mini subline that they were going to give one fan would get his own figure made, and then the rest, like Scott was like,
people were involved, right?
Well, it was all for free, we're not going to pay you, but if you submit a design, which is why Jeff Johns did his shitty Sir Laser Lot, Scott forced in his Mighty Spector. They got somebody that he knew to do Side Chop, and then the Horseman, who should have done all of them, did Dragoman, which is unanimously the most beloved character from that. Not just because it's that, but it's awesome character. Yeah, it's an awesome character. The Horseman should have designed all the characters. They get it. Yeah, they get it. But then when you looked at Bublor and Gangster and Rajar and Three Beasts and Major Head, you're like, how the hell did none of these characters get made to an action figure?
Yeah,
I mean, I still to this day am genuinely pissed about that. If I were to show Nathan those designs of those characters, oh my God, every single one.
Great designs. I mean, they deserve it.
They really do, because I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I got Castle Grayskull Man with blonde hair. And,
Remember, everybody thought it was a joke. They thought it was a joke. I told you, like it was Hulk Hogan. I mean, it was like a green creature with Hulk Hogan hair. You know, it's funny. We're talking about Mulcrum with the weird hair. Seeing this green Castle Grayskull guy with hair, people were like, huh? But a lot of people have come along to really love him. Some people still hate the concept. But yeah, that's basically it with the creative characters that we're talking about. And unanimously, most people say just Drago Man is amazing because, like you said, the Horsemen get it, and he feels like he belongs in Masters. That's something that if you were a kid and you seen that, a vintage figure, I mean, you just would have pissed your pants like, oh my God, look at this. He looks like he belongs. The
but you
others
didn't get to
look
vote
really
on
confused.
it. It was just like if you wanted a particular figure, you had to get Spectre and Laser Line, Side Chop, and all that shit.
Just some don't, like I said, they just don't feel like they belong. They look weird. I mean, that Sir Laser Lot just looks. I can't stand it. Side Chop just looks confusing. Side Chop is really just a confusing mess to me.
It's just a
mess. In his bio is, but yeah. So Nathan, honestly, like you said, he didn't know about that stuff.
Yeah,
but
no,
I'm assuming.
Have no preference there, so apologies to Adam Gabbert that I don't have a definitive answer. Maybe Tyler at some point can send me pictures of everybody, and I can.
Yeah, you'll probably be picking Drago, man.
Opinion from there.
Yeah,
I mean, I would assume so because we, for the most part, the three of us sort of have the same mentality based off of like what we think looks great from a visual perspective. So yeah. I'll probably end up falling in line with that. Or I'll just be like, yeah, Castle Grayskull, man, looks awesome.
Well, Nathan would say that and just move on just because, you know, it's like pissing in my hush puppies.
I've never heard that expression. But
that's from the movie The Frighteners.
Oh.
Something Jeffrey Combs says, what did he do? Piss on your hush puppies?
Dude, yeah, it's been a while since I've watched that. I've only watched
God, I haven't heard that.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in years. That was with Michael J. Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow.
Directed by Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
I'd like to revisit that. Okay. Well, Tags Media Animation wanted to mention that he finally got himself a Master Universe Classic Scarecrow. Glow. Jesus Christ, I can't even talk. Oh, and I just dropped my first cuss word. No, I didn't, because that's a name. Jesus Christ, that's a name, so I didn't cuss. How about that? Let me see if I can.
He's a poet. Didn't know it. He's a cool.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there might not. Let me see. Tags Media Animation said.
No,
hold on. Tags Media. Yeah, I'm getting to them. For all of Fans of Power, who was your Holy Grail Classics figure or vintage? Well, mine, just because it was something I wanted. I wanted them both. I mentioned the Giants earlier because I thought they never existed. But getting Titus at that $100 price, listed in Sports Collectibles as Giant He-Man. I think just because I got an amazing deal, but I think he's my grail just because that's a hell of a deal, and I wanted that ever since I seen him in that catalog at Elder Bierman's. When that lady showed me that catalog, and I've seen all of them, Titus, Megator, Giganosaur. So mine's vintage Titus.
What about my Holy Grail Classics has yet to be made yet.
Well, what about vintage?
God, I mean, because there were so many I sought after. I mean, because I own all of them, so it's not. I mean, they all a lot of them have like different meanings because of how badly I wanted them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I still don't own. Well, you know what? It would have to be the Viper Tower because that's the part of the Eternia playset, which is something I was pretty much convinced I would never own.
That was a cool moment too when you opened that.
But actual figure wise, I mean, it would probably have to be Scareglow or I was trying to double check. I mean, because there's quite a few. Like I said, they have certain means because of the hard time it was to try and get a lot of them. But you know, might be my original He-Man that I've had that's on display. Always over there with the Mega Laser. That one, I'm just so proud to have it because that and the Skeletor that I got, which I have no idea what happened to Skeletor, but that He-Man has stayed with me since '87, and I've held on to it, and I'm just proud. I'm very proud that I still have that to this day. That's what got it started was that one figure. Well, with Skeletor too. So that would be my personal Holy Grail, which wouldn't mean jack shit to anybody else. But
no, everybody's got their own personal reason.
Yeah. So, but yeah, classics until they make this version of Hero over here, like one that's better than the one we got. You know, which
Molded to look like Tyler himself.
It wouldn't have to be like me, but I just think Axel's design for that character that he came up with. All I did was come up with the emblem, but that design. I mean, come on, like look at this design for Hero that they made. Like it's just not like they took the one armor shoulder piece, which I almost feel like the Horseman did pull that from Axel's design, but I just feel like it's a much more interesting kind of take on the He-Man character that Axel did as opposed to this. You know. So it's one of those things that I would have been cool.
Okay.
But
what about Nathaniel? What about yours?
Nathaniel, I don't. Come on.
No, it's
like
George.
I forgot. Yeah, you're right. I can't say that. Okay.
No, there's for me. There's no holy grails.
No grails. Yeah. Someday you might. Once you said you're a little more invested, you have things maybe different kind of memories, but
I would say because Nathan has looked on occasion like a men on card vintage Hordak.
Yeah, that'd be all right. I mean, like honestly, my figure collecting habits just bounce all over the place.
Yeah.
Like for a while, I was like, yeah, classics. Tyler can tell you. He can look through the messages. It's like, here's this, and then like I just move back to this, and I come back to this. I'm everywhere when it comes to figures.
Okay. And Zen Brown thought mine was going to be Sky High. Well, I mean, hell, believe me, having him named in classics after my name, that is an amazing thing. But he's not my Holy Grail figure, but it was my it was a hell of a moment though seeing him named. So okay, Papa Hud 69 said, I have a question. When Evil Seed was dying and he quoted, "There will be another season," was it another season for him to return, or a hint of another season of He-Man? Well, I'm sure that probably made him. Yeah. That'd be cool. I liked Evil Seed, and that was also a freaky moment as a kid watching him wither away like that. That was a little traumatizing, even though he's just a creature and different. That was something you didn't see too much of. Usually just the creatures would poof, disappear in smoke or magically disappear, but to see one decaying, almost like something within the seasons, even though I know it's just represent basically plant life, but still, it's a living being. It's kind of sadistic.
Reference from Friday the 13th Part 4.
There you go. Hey, remember?
You think I'm making that up, don't you?
No, I know you ain't making it up. All right, let me
whatever that means. Okay, a message from Tookie Deathhammer.
This is cracking skull.
Hey, Sean joined us in the chat room and said that he said he likes Soleil's a lot. He said he likes Soleil's a lot. Good concept, decent name. Bad.
Well, I'm glad there's one of you out there.
He said Three Beast was his favorite. Castle Grayskull Man should have been Skeletor's son and just called him Grayskull.
No, Skeletor has no son. There is no procreating with Skeletor. And Castle Grayskull Man should have been just turned into rubble.
Zen Brown said, "Stop hating Castle Grayskull Man." Fatmon said, "Joe, you piss your pants."
There's not a single fan on this planet who can convince me there's anything remotely positive about that character or that thing. I didn't even acknowledge him as part of the mythology. He's up there with King Grayskull.
Okay. Femon said, Joe, you piss your pants when you see Masters of the Universe figures. He's like, is that an image? That's an image I didn't need to see. No,
you
certain
do?
things.
You piss your pants a lot? Are you a chronic bedwetter?
If pissing your pants is cool, consider me Miles Davis.
Yeah. What's that from, Joe?
That's from Happy Gilmore. That was that old lady when they were.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Wait, no, I meant Billy Madison. Billy Madison. That was when they went to the.
No, wait, the latest Netflix piece of shit.
No, I meant it is. It was Billy Madison when they went on that little field trip, and remember he acted like he peed his pants, and the old lady said, "Yes, I know that. Damn it, I had a flub."
Of course you did.
Kevin Sharp joined us.
Hey, Kev.
And Kevin Sharp said, "Castle Grayskull Man looks cool in hand. It's a cool figure in hand." so how about that, Tyler?
Well, I guess there goes your commissions from one Tyler Baker, I suppose.
Well, I've had this discussion with Kevin plenty of times, and we agree on pretty much damn near everything except that. So.
Oh boy! All right. Well, he had to zing you.
He gets a pass. It doesn't make him right, though.
All right. Well, he zinged you. Curtis Ackerman said, "Question for Tyler: Is it true that it was announced this week that they casted Nathan Kennedy as Squinch in the new Masters of the Universe movie?" What the hell is he? What?
No, but he was cast as like Brad Dourif's replacement in the Child's Play series as Charles Lee Ray.
You know what? That would be an honor, actually.
Because I think Nathan looks like Brad Dourif. You look like if you see Brad Dourif for like Fatal Beauty or any of his movies in the 80s, he looks just like Nathan.
Gonna have to do a side-by-side comparison. I'll have to do some Photoshop pics, put them together.
Oh, great! I can't wait.
Yeah, put Nathan like in a purple like 80s like silk shirt with an automatic weapon as a drug dealer. That'd be awesome.
You give me some reference pictures, I'll do it. T-Dog said, "Please tell Tyler that I love him." So there you go. T-Dog loves Tyler. There you go. How about that?
No, I'm glad you do there.
Zen Brown said they've been playing the Frighteners on TV all summer. I haven't seen the Zen Brown. You gotta let me know the stations. I have not seen that.
Pick up your own damn TV guide or use the internet. We got to let other people tell you when shit comes on.
Okay.
Could you just see Joe just sitting there by his computer? It's like,
he's waiting for that call.
When's my show?
When's it coming on? Having to rely on other people from across the country to tell them when something comes on.
Let me know when Frighteners on, though. I'd watch that son of a gun. Really, I'd look for it.
You can't pick up a newspaper, Joe, and like read what's on tonight?
No. Tags Media Animation has a question said, if they made any Marvel figures into the vintage style, who would you want to see? And I think maybe he means like kind of like a crossover. I don't know if he means like how Origins is doing it, but
no crossover stuff. But if you're gonna do like what Funko did with like the DC Primal Age, like
I would actually like to see a Wolverine with something in a Marvel style or Origins, like for He-Man. I think a Wolverine would look kind of cool, so that'd be a Marvel character I'd like to see in that style.
I'm gonna go with either Venom or Sabretooth.
Okay.
Sabretooth, I think like if you go with like the first two versions of Sabretooth, I think that would translate pretty well to like a. Well, I mean, if you just are we talking like crossing over with He-Man? Is that the question?
I think that's what he's meaning. I think he means maybe that vintage style of He-Man. I think that's what he means. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like it's. I have to think of it like more specifically. If we're going to say the character for Marvel is going to cross over into He-Man and become a character, then I feel like it has to be something specific. If we're just going to make Marvel characters into the vintage style.
Maybe that's what he meant. I'm assuming that's what he meant. Just like if you'd like to see a Marvel character in the vintage He-Man style of a body or something, who would you like to see?
I mean, I can't say it's not really been an interest of mine, but just to kind of humor the question. I mean, yeah, probably the first look of Sabretooth, the one that originated in Iron Fist 14, I think, and that lasted until like the 90s. Okay. That look, Joe, do you know what I'm talking about?
Not a clue. Nope.
I didn't think so.
Nope. I'm honest there. I have no clue, but
Nathan, do you know what I'm talking about?
Let's go with Fat Thor from Avengers Endgame. There we go. Done.
And I picked Wolverine, so we all had a different one. Let's see. Fedbon said yes. Tyler really wants his figure of Crackers the Clown. I don't know about that, Fedbon. I don't know if he'd want that. Sean said Gray, Keldor, and Shirella are grails for both vintage and modern. If he would have, I think he said those as figures, I believe. Elder, I don't know. I think when he was just talking about grails of maybe what he'd like to see.
What's a grail?
Grail, a grail figure. Grail. Yeah, Holy Grail. T-Dog said Elder Beermans. He said parts unknown my ass. He said Joe is from Ohio. But
we know that. But Joe gets finicky if we reveal stuff about his life. You know,
I'm not really from Ohio.
Meanwhile, Joe's like, how did that proposal go?
Shut up.
I want vivid details.
I want to know more about your life. Well, out of the question.
Out of the question, Sean says the Giants laser figures and Eternity is something he still wants, but won't spend the money, even if he had it. Yeah, they're a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. Good night, Scott. Have a good night. That's what Tags wanted me to say to his son. Yep, get some good sleep. Why did Grimbot say Jetson? What were we talking about? We weren't talking about that cartoon.
In case you guys didn't hear, the Jetsons are crossing over with Masters of the Universe.
Oh man!
Everybody get excited.
I guess Mattel has the rights to that, and the Flintstones, along with Ghostbusters, and He-Man, and WWE wrestling, so they're all going to be crossing over.
And then eventually Disney will buy it, and everything will be under one umbrella.
And then you can have like mix-up figures. You put Mickey Mouse ears on a He-Man figure, but then you can take a Ghostbusters Proton Pack and put it in the same damn figure, but then you can take his legs off and mix it up with George Jetson, and then have like you say new voice pack says Yabba Dabba Doo, and like this crazy mix-up.
And then you can have a Build-A-Figure that is Battle Cat with jean shorts and a John Cena hat.
Yeah. It
Oh,
comes
God.
with like a Justin Roberts and like a
No,
Titantron.
no.
Well, I did want to let you guys know before you go and before we get off here, you guys are going to have a chance to win a copy of the Power and Honor Foundation catalog. We have another one we're giving away, but that's not going to be until tomorrow. Now, what time, Tyler, did you want them to go to our Fans of Power Facebook group page? Which, Nathan, I don't know if you have it linked here, but if he hasn't, he'll get it linked underneath the comments so you can make sure you come over there, join up, and then tomorrow, what time, Tyler, will we post these questions that'll be pertaining to this episode?
I don't care.
Want to do an 8 p.m.? Want to do an 8 p.m. Eastern time? Tell them to go.
Why not make it an oddball time? Make it. I mean, we get the stuff to Nathan, but just for people to start looking for it, look for it at, 8:16 or something like that. Just
Okay.
something.
All right, well, hey, we'll go with that. 8:16 p.m. Eastern time in the Fans of Power Facebook group. Not page, but group. And like I said, Nathan will get the link. We're going to have some questions.
I think that has been below there for
Is it? I just want to make sure.
Quite some time, I believe.
Okay. All right, well, like I said, you can always click it because there's the page, but then there's the actual group. So I want to make sure that they go to the group. And if that link's there, that'll be perfect. But we're going to have some questions. Tyler, have a question? I don't know, maybe one or two. I might have a couple, but it's going to be pertaining to this.
I have one question. It's like a two-part, but just one question. So if there's more, that's all Joe's.
And I'll have two questions. And the first person that will answer all those questions correctly on our Fans of Power Facebook group, in our group, on that thread that I create, you'll win a copy of the Power and the Honor Foundation catalog. So we'll be giving more away. It'll be sporadically, every couple weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. But we, from the very generous donor that donated those to us, we have a good amount that we'll be giving away, so everybody can enjoy and love that damn book, because it's an amazing piece. If you haven't owned it, you have never seen it, it's well worth it. So you'll love winning that piece. But Tyler, before we wrap it up and I say goodnight to everybody here in the chat room, did you have any recommendations, anything you want to tell them, anything in closing?
I just want to continue to push Kevin Sharp's artwork. He's taking commissions. He's actually he showed me like a sample of an 80s group, featuring prominent 80s characters that we've talked about on our podcast, not just He-Man, but that are featured in this one. Oh my God, it looks amazing! Just to see him draw these particular characters for the first time, I'm like, this is why I just continued. Here, take my money, draw this.
All right.
So yeah, check out Kevin Sharp's artwork, because I just I can't get enough of his stuff, and it's just fun to see him tackle things that all right, I've always wanted to see Kevin draw that, and he's drawing 2 things or 3 things in a commission he's doing for somebody. He showed me a sample. I'm like, oh my God, God, that looks awesome.
Okay,
and he's good. He's ready to ball it up and throw it in the fire. I can't draw it. I'm terrible. I'm like, Kevin, get off the ledge. I'm telling you, you're doing amazing.
One last thing to say about Kevin Sharp in the chat room. He was, when we were talking about Castle Grayskull Man, he said, no, wait. He said, I thought, what the hell, when he first revealed Castle Grayskull Man. But he says, but Castle Grayskull Man looked good in hand. He said, that's the truth. So he still likes his Castle Grayskull Man in hand. He's like, he's lying, liar. But, okay, well, I don't think we had any, wait, let me see. Curtis Ackerman said, pick up your own damn TV guide. He said, best quote of the night. I don't know, is that supposed to be a quote? If it is, I don't know what that is.
I think he was just quoting something I said to you.
Oh, okay, good then. Right on my head.
Were you paying attention, Joe?
No. And Zen Brown said, minus the Netflix She-Ra rant, or about, he said about the bullshit about that cartoon.
He said bullshit, Joe.
Oh, yeah, I was trying to see. I could have went one episode without cussing, but nope. Thank you, Zen Brown. Minus the Netflix She-Ra bullshit. He said this was another great episode, but I know he enjoyed me doing that rant. Yeah, I know he loved that rant. Everybody did. So, okay. All right. Well, everybody that was here tonight, I hope you enjoyed our episode. It was great having you. And make sure, and if you're new to this channel, you like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell. Ring that bell down there so you can always get notified when we go live. So until next time, have a powerful day.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Damn, it's so simple. You can tell that Tyler's just been thinking about how bummed out he's been from Pauly Shore. He should have done a fucking Pauly Shore quote from something. Just suck it, you asshole.
The last thing on my mind.
Do a Destro quote, because that was fun. The girls. The girls.
Yeah, even if I quoted something that Arthur yelled at me, like no one would have like know what the hell, Not even if you're such a G.I. Joe fanatic, because there wouldn't have been anything that he, said. God.
I'm just standing there the entire time. I'm like looking at Emily. I think it's going pretty well. He's just standing there like they're over there. Little did I know. Oh, whew.
Yeah, like people. I know what it's like for the voice of Jester to say "motherfucker."
Yes, we'll have to buy that more a year.
Yeah, a couple of times, along with a few other choice words.
Yeah. So you guys be on the lookout for
I'm
for
sure
not
too many other G.I. Joe fans know what that's like.
Maybe Eric Heyman does. Oh,
Hey,
we'll
for
find
anybody
out here in a couple days.
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, I mean, you make sure you let them know where they have to go to watch the episodes and everything, in case they'd be new to Beyond Retro or Capes and Commentary.
Well, the link is also down below, but if you want to
we're
check
all
us out,
joined together here, people. It's all. I mean, Fans of Pirates, its own separate channel, but we're all connected to
YouTube.com/Beyond Retro Podcast. That's where you can find us.
Hey, and Sean had one quick one. I know this one, but I'm gonna let Tyler do it. Okay, you'll get this, Tyler.
We're all in mass hysteria here. Like Joe just kind of like zones out.
I like this quote. I do. Here's this quote: "Rubber baby buggy bumper." I bet you never thought I was gonna say that, did you?
So I'd like to think that he's quoting a really, really old episode of Fans of Power is the reason he's doing it, and it's just not a coincidence that he's quoting that.
Is that because you did that one time as one of your quotes at the end?
Joe, do you not remember? That was the whole inspiration for the whole movie quote thing to begin with, was that line.
Really?
Because I kept saying, because Bozo kept saying, "All right, man, rock on, guys," and I would say Stondar, and he's like, whatever. And then I just told
I don't remember.
And I told you, I'm gonna say rubber baby buggy bumpers. Ha! You didn't know I was gonna say that, did you? Because I kept saying Stondar.
Oh, that is familiar. Okay, good. Wow, it actually lit a bulb. See, my brain, it didn't work too well up there. Sometimes the light's off, but it just got
try
lit
and turn
it
on next time.
I should, damn it.
No, good, man. Grow your water, man. Good shit, man.
Well, it is.
It's probably just bathtub water. That's what Joe does.
That's good shit.
I tried to look fancy. I found this on the street, and I just fill it up every single day. Bathtub water. This is great. I buy real water. I'm drinking shit out the toilet.
Tyler, think about that guy handing me that thing, and I just rip it up and toss it in the air while I'm just
I mentioned that, because I told Joe, I said, Joe, Nathan got into it with the hate monger outside of the convention. There was like an anti-gay protest going on as we're walking into the convention. We come out, and someone's like switch shifts with the guy, and somebody else out there doing the same thing. And
what did that have to do with a comic convention?
I was asking myself the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, God, let people enjoy going to a comic convention. What the heck would they have protests there for being idiots? That sounds insane.
Yeah, we're already like divulging stuff from the con episode, but there's a guy, I shit you not, there's like a good, Tyler, probably like 10, 15 feet between these people. You have people over here, it's like, like pro-gay, whatever. And then you have this guy over here with like a megaphone, just like preaching to everybody about it was...
there was about 6 or 7 people surrounding the first guy, yelling at him and talking to him about what he's. And you couldn't even hear what the guy was saying, but he looked like a guy who was like in the army or something like that. And then we come out and it's like this kind of paunchy bearded guy. It's like he tags him out, and this new guy comes in, and
we'll have to hear that story on. Yeah, we'll have to hear it next time.
I mean, you guys kind of get the gist of it. But Tyler and I will talk about that on Beyond Retro.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it was a good one, guys, and we'll see you next time.